tonight. Fuck! Welcome back to the stream, man. How are you? Smiling Capital with the 10 gifted. That brother's fucking up on crude oil 97.6. That's how I know. What's good, guys? I'm not gonna lie. I feel crazy. I woke up a little bit like heavy emotions today, man. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure. First, I thought I was sad. Now I think I'm like grateful. I don't know what it is, but it was. I'm not gonna be like gay, but it was something, man. Is it gay if a white boy expressed a little emotion on a stream? You know, is it cringe if a white boy expressed a little gratitude for the journey? You know, is it, man? I was thinking about today because every morning I wake up and I'm like, fuck my life, like. How am I going to do stream today? Every morning I wake up and I'm like, fuck. I wake up like in a cold sweat. I'm like, oh my God, I have to go live. And I think about it. And I was thinking about it. And man, like 3 months ago, our biggest problem in the world 3 months ago was a meme ticker on Solana that has a pump fund CA getting vamped by a bonk CA. That was like my biggest concern in the world 100 days ago was a pump fund meme coin getting vamped by a bonk meme coin. That was like my biggest problem in the world. And now it's like, oh, bet the dollar is ripping as risk assets get destroyed and geopolitical unrest accelerates while our hedges, Bitcoin and gold, absolutely crumble. SPX is on support and ready to die. J-Pow just went on the presser and said no cuts. Maybe hikes, not sure what's going to happen in the Middle East. Kira with the gifted. And Iran and the US are in like full-fledged war, and we have to like navigate oil fields getting blown up and backdated crude futures outperforming current crude futures, which means some manipulation is happening or the world is starting to price in 6 months. I'm like, bro, 100 days ago we talked about bonk fun. What is that? Like, what the fuck? So I don't know if you're supposed to feel grateful about that or wish you got out while you could, but I just like this shit, man. I can't read that message, but it was a good one. I just like talking about this shit. I don't know what to tell you. By the way, I'm doing this thing now where I drink matcha. And I always thought matcha was good because, man, think about how much more we know than we did 100 days ago. Are you kidding me? How much we knew now compared to what we used to talk about? I mean, we used to talk about Bro, we spent man, how about it? One time for the one time. Mac D Gods off the company card with the 50 gifted. That's coming out of my salary with the 50 gifted. Yes, sir. How about this, man? We once spent 3 consecutive weeks talking about Ben Pasternak. We once spent an entire stream watching Evelyn Haw vlogs. Okay, we didn't do that. But that was not that long ago. And so I think you all should be proud of yourself too for how much we've leveled up the severity of the things that we talk about in our conversations on stream, because it's gotten serious. Yeah, maybe one day, maybe like on a Friday, we'll just watch Evelyn vlogs. Are you down? Should we do that one day? Just watch Evelyn vlogs the whole stream. Fuck it. On like this Friday, just rip it. Anyways, what I was saying real quick before we get to the serious stuff is I do this. So I'm drinking matcha now. It's my first day drinking matcha, but I always thought matcha was gas because I would order these like matcha like sugar lattes and think to myself, it's so good. And I just got my first one. It's a matcha Americano and it's just matcha and water. And this shit is fucking ass, bro. This shit is fucking dog shit is what it is. It's fucking terrible. So I guess it's just the sugar. I just like sugar. But yeah, that's where we're at. Look, guys, we have a lot to talk about today. We have no guests. This is going to be a solo stream. I have a lot to cover. We have videos to watch. Jeff Curie, our guy, just ripped a new stream. Market close is about to happen. SPY looks terrible. Oil is fucking candling again. Newton has re-entered with a lot, which I don't know if that's a good sign, but I just can't help myself. And so, yeah, Newton's re-entered in size. And so we'll talk about that. And there is, I mean, yeah, there's just like a million things going on. Also, crypto has stuff right now. The CFTC ruling came out. That's a big one. Tempo mainnet just happened. We're going to try to get Matt from Paradigm on tomorrow. Maybe Dan Romero as well. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to cover. Who is Newton? All right, you ever heard of Sir Isaac Newton? Funny Bunny, I'm going to do a quick story real quick. You ever heard of Sir Isaac Newton? Newton re-enters with a lot. All right, this is the story of Isaac Newton. Okay, as I show you this chart, also keep in mind, Smiley Capital, you know Sir Isaac Newton? He died a virgin and broke as well. So keep that in mind as I show you what I'm about to show you. But it's a very famous chart. Okay. And this is the South Sea Company infamous trade. Okay. Newton invests a bit at the very bottom. Okay. He's early. He's the first one. He invests a little bit. Market rips. Newton exits happy. At the same time Newton exits happy, all of his friends get in and experience up-only parabolic price action. Right about here, 50% higher, all of Newton's friends get rich. Okay. And then we go straight up in a euphoric line. And Newton says, fuck this shit. All of my retarded ass homies that weren't here with me at the bottom made more money than me. I'm coming back in. And Newton re-enters with a lot. Size, slams, top lasting, new paradigm, super cycle. Fuck it. Okay. It's like Jack Mallers. It's like Michael Saylor and Jack Mallers. Okay. If we assume that Michael Saylor and Jack Mallers didn't both buy the whole way down as well. Let's just say from new cycle up to 126. Okay. Saylor. Actually, they kind of broke. They kind of both exit broke, actually. Smart Capital with a 20 gift. It's not a great analogy, huh? They kind of both exit broke. Newton re-enters with a fucking lot. And then Newton exits broke. And a virgin. And that is how the South Sea Company trade broke Sir Isaac Newton. And so Newton re-enters with a lot means this is me investing a bit. This is me exiting happy. This is Smiley Capital getting rich. And this is me re-entering with a lot. And so we're right about here. We're right about here right now. Which we'll talk about. I do, did Newton die virgin? Not like there's anything wrong with this inherently, but yes, it is widely believed that he never got married because he was too intense studying. So, all right. We have a lot to talk about, and I have a bunch of stuff to cover before we get to this, which is that crew. Yeah, it is kind of sad. It is kind of sad. You got to ask yourself, if he didn't re-enter that trade, does that change his sexual outcome? Yeah, what do you think, honestly? I don't know. But does it change his outcome? His SMV, his sexual market value, if he sells? I don't know if Newton's SMV goes up or down if he sells, if he doesn't re-enter. But we are going to be covering this because, my friends, I kind of thought we were getting close to the end, but the situation has severely escalated in Iran since we got off stream yesterday. And so we're going to get there in a minute. First, we have some intro stuff. You'd be way more popular if more people cared about money than instead of bullshit. Here's the thing, is I only care about people that care about money, which is why we have our elite little squad here. I only care about the people that care about money. So That's why we intentionally don't slop this thing up. Like I like slop as much as the next guy, but it doesn't make sense to do it on the stream. We're here. I'm here to fucking get rich, and anything that coincides with my ability to make it is just a waste of my time. So all right, I got like 5 culture things. We're gonna go bang, 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 and then we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of today. First and foremost, Polymarket just launched like the coolest thing of all time. The Situation Room by Polymarket is coming to Washington, D.C. I have always said and thought to myself that you're not going to meet your wife at a bar. But there's a non-zero chance that your future wife is looking at prediction market odds while drinking like an espresso martini in Washington, D.C. Like, it's not zero. It is non-zero. It is non-zero and elite launch by Poly. And now, you may argue that no single attractive woman is walking in there, but that's also what they said about crypto Twitter. And look, it's also what they said about CT. So look, DC is not my favorite place. I grew up near DC, maybe like 45 minutes ago. Maybe like 45 minutes away from DC. It's not my favorite place on the earth. There isn't that much to do in DC. But marketing team is under Jenny Run. Shout out to Polymarket. Second is also, if you're watching on Twitter, YouTube, whatever other platform you want to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. I don't know why you would watch the stream anywhere else. Netflix has officially announced it. Okay. The FTX movie is coming to Netflix. And this is the guy who was playing Sam Bankman-Fried. This is CZ. And this is Caroline Ellison, which is a joke. I'm not sure which is a bigger... CZ looks mad good, by the way. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get a feature in this movie. This is CZ. I don't even know Sarah Fisher Ellison. I don't even know who that is. Is that Caroline's mom? And who is this? Lucy. What is Lucy? Who is Lucy? Hannah? I don't know who these people are. And who's Dr. Lerner? Jackson Ray, what's good? Is nuts. But I'm just going to warn you that this movie is going to be guaranteed propaganda, and it's going to do everything in their possible power, I would imagine, to make Sam look good. And it's going to be a disgrace. You go to the movie, you have to watch it, but do not let these people at Netflix be right. This is going to be a disgrace. It is going to be a disgusting disgrace to the world. And it's already off to a horrific start. It is. It's going to be a fucking disgrace. Okay? So that's happening. You longing anything right now? Yeah, this chart. I'll get there. I need like 5 minutes just to bang. I just need to warm up a little bit. Third, some W propaganda. Fun fact. The trailer releases for Dune 1 and 2 both happened at the bottom of bear markets. Bitcoin went on to have bull runs that led to new all-time highs and lasted for years each time. Dune 1 trailer and the Dune 2 trailer. September 2020, April 2023, and now once again in March 2026. The Dune 3 trailer has officially released, which we're not going to watch because it's actually fire. Maybe we'll watch it at the end. This is like the McRib signal, but potentially has more signal, less noise. The McRib gets re-released every year. So that is what that is. Fourth, the SEC Gov has just spoken out. And I'm going to let you all know what they let me know, which is that investors should never rely solely on information from group chats in making investment decisions. Be wary of any group chat where you receive investment advice from someone you don't know. This is often how scams begun. And I'm just going to say, if only they knew. If only an SEC knew how much money I have lost. Also, this does not apply to the pit. And fifth and final, as we conclude our very underwhelming culture segment today, Base 16Z tweets, seems like the first day people are starting to admit it's over. Now, we're going to spend a lot of time. I'm going to spend a lot of time probably talking about like personal portfolio today, because I really liked the Fei Zhao interview yesterday, particularly the I never short, I just go cash. And I have not been in cash for a while because I kind of think I've like went retard mode on Bitcoin a little bit, and I've hindered my ability to not trade stocks or to not trade positions. And maybe I have a little bit too much confidence after this oil long, but like I'm starting to feel pretty good about myself from a, wow, I learned things quick. And so we'll talk about them. But I will say, just to set the stage here before we get to escalations, is Iran situation objectively just took a step forward in the escalation ladder last night. It just did. It took a legitimate step higher on the escalation ladder is number one. Number two, rate cuts, not happening. Maybe hikes. J Powell was like a little bit fucking hawkish today. We'll watch some of the clips. I didn't watch it. I was preparing for stream. Three is like oil is just cannot be contained right now. Legging up. It looks insane right now. And it sort of feels like there's this collective feeling of, I don't know where to hide. Gold crushed, Bitcoin crushed, silver crushed, stocks pretty ugly. Everything across the board is just gross, except for the dollar, which, by the way, everybody wants to act right now like they've been all in the dollar. Is like, give me a fucking break. I mean, give me a break. And then second, give me a fucking break, please. For most. Not everybody, but for most. And then second is, I don't know, hyper NFTs, like hyper liquid. I've been saying dollar for 2 weeks. It wasn't a shot. You actually did say exit all risk at 75K Bitcoin, I think, the other day. Got clowned for it too. It was a pretty good post, huh? So I'm just setting the stage for things feeling a little bit uncomfortable today. And I'm gonna do my best to get through all of it, cover all of it. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's look at market close, and then let's talk about the situation. We'll work backwards. We'll get to crypto near the end, but we have a lot more important stuff to talk about than crypto at the beginning here. So let's go. First of all, I figured out backdated futures. Oh, I learned some shit today. I'm going to show you in a minute. Oh my God, I learned some shit today. Shout out to Fei Zhao. I learned some new shit today in the markets. I learned some new shit today in the markets. I did. I learned some new shit today. Oh, I didn't do roll call real quick. Roll call real quick. Quick. Venture Coins, Luke Martin, what's good? Smiley. Vito, what's good? Space, what's good? Ride Time, Kevin. Joey, what's good? Hidden Character, what's good? Oh my God, there's so many people do that. Slumbo, Wavy 80, Once My People, Sir Weekends, Live the Life TV, Sparky, Alex, NG, My, Teo. Oh my God, first time chatter, Brandy777, welcome. Teo, Yonan, G-Man, Viblet, everybody else, I see you, Teo, Vida, David Cardanos. Welcome. Pipe Bomb 33. I'll never missed it. I've never missed Pipe Bomb. It's my favorite name in this chat. Seth Rogen, Yonan, Juice Cardi 69, Cole Bunny. All right, we're good. Let's get it. Market close. Here's where we're at. Citrini post. What did he post? Yeah. Okay. Maybe this is a good place to start. Is before I look at the market. It's hard to see it, but Citrini made this post and said, a quote from, I don't know, how do you say that? A quote, I don't know from who when. When people are worried about the future, they buy gold. When people are worried about the present, they sell gold. And he quote tweets and says, looks like people are worried about the present today. Okay, here's market close. Here's where we're at. VIX was up 12% today. Crazy. SPY closed down 1.4%, which is a pretty significant move. Pretty significant move on SPY. And here's where we are on the daily. Oh, man. This starts to get hard to contain. I mean, guys, look at this fucking... I mean, I've never seen a fucking ass that round before. Look at that. That is an ugly chart. Seriously. That is a rounded, ugly chart. Weekly is somehow worse. And then the monthly is horrifically terrifying. So one of the things we're going to do today is I'm going to try to game theory out. Because here's the deal. You know Trump is staring at the 5-minute chart of oil and SPY. And so he's not... There's like a certain level at which you can let this Iran situation escalate. Many could argue that it's already gone way too far, but the market just isn't really reacting. Depends where you stand. But the thing that we're going to try to game theory out today, I'm going to get the whiteboard out, is that Trump doesn't really have that many options here. This is the problem with the Strait of Hormuz. Red Eye Music, 909 with the gifted. Thank you so much. This is the thing that we have learned, is that there aren't that many Trump options that don't lead to, no pun intended, a nuclear outcome. Figuratively nuclear and literally nuclear. So SPY closed down 1.4, Russell down 1.7, Q's down 1.4, software ETF IGV down 1.34. Ugly. The Dow, look at this. Look at this. By the way, this would have been an unreal trade. You short on the Pam Bondi over 50K, down 8% and basically in a straight line. Dow's down 1.6. Crypto is a safe haven, right? That's not true. Hyperliquid's a safe haven right now. They had a crazy announcement right now. Trade XYZ, which is Shoku, is bringing official S&P market to Hyperliquid, which is insane. Hyperliquid outperforming the whole world. 42.3 right now. And then crypto off a cliff. Bitcoin's down 4.5% gross. Gold's down 3.5% gross. It is trading like digital gold, just to the downside. ETH is down 7%, just horrific. Zcash down 10, Sol down 6, silver down 5. Nowhere to hide in crypto. Energy up across the board. Basically, it's oil and a couple energy stocks. Defense green except for Palantir. Chemicals are extremely green except for this Braxim, which I have this chemical watch list. I don't even know what anything on this thing is. I don't know what anything on this thing is, but I have it. Lidenol Basil's up 6%. I think it's like the Tulip King one. BNB, I don't even track that. And the individual names, Nvidia down 1, Adobe down 3.3, SanDisk was up 5 today, Apple down 2, Microsoft down 2, Oracle down 1, Meta down 1, Amazon down 2.5, Tesla down 1.6. Just everything is on life support, really. Nintendo up another 0.4, which is sick. Korean stocks ripping. SK Hynix up 8. And Samsung was up 8 at last close. And then our last chart here, Hims was down 8. Circle, Safe Haven. MU had a big beat. Where is it? Show that real quick. MU had a big beat. Wow, yeah, it looks great. Up 1% after hours. And this is basically where we are. I would have loved to have traded that Pam Bondi Dow thing, but I didn't. And so let us talk about the situation, because, I mean, my God. Look at this fucking chart, gentlemen. Look at this chart. It's gross. Okay, here's what I want to know. Before I get into it, I feel like we haven't been doing a good enough job of this. The chat, real quick, just so I can get a sentiment check. What is your biggest position right now? Long, short, and what? Long, short, or I guess you could say cash. Long, short, what? What is your biggest position? And we're going to get into the escalation that has occurred in the Middle East. Biggest position, dollars, cash, long Bitcoin, cash, short SPY, short hype, spot Bitcoin, Solana NFTs. Jesus, spot hype, Wavy 80. Good shit, man. I like watching your port, Wavy 80. I like to see you in a good spot. Long soul. First chatter though, welcome. Debt. I know that's hype trade at 29. Long Bitcoin, a lot of long Bitcoin. It's done decent, a lot of cash. Short BTC from 75, BTC long. Nice hype trade at 29. Aliens, spot hype, per hype and circle. Nice. By the way, right time strategy. You've been doing well. I've been watching you talk about hype and circle and shit. You have a good finger on the pulse. Cool. ETH, we're dying. How many little chillers you long? I'm the #1 holder of little chillers. Short cattle. Oh my God, look at this chart. We gotta just get into this. Look at this fucking chart. Look at the hourly on this. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. It's going for it. Big Birds, thanks for the gifted. STRC vol slowing down. Yeah, people are scared. 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 Look at this thing. Make it go for it. Look at it. Make it fucking go for it. All right. The thing about the updates here is that so much happens every day. It's hard to make sure I have everything in an order. So I'm just going to do my best to go through them, and then we'll watch what's actually important, and we'll go from there. Okay, how about that? Let's just do that. We hit all the intro stuff. Yeah, we did. Okay. We got a new Jeff Curry video, which I'm so excited to watch. I watched it this morning at breakfast, like an hour ago at breakfast. Wow. I can't believe I'm back in this trade. I can't believe it, honestly. All right. Number one is we are going to hit a batting of heads some point here very soon, okay? P4 alpha is actually insane. Big Bird, first chatter into gifted. We'll talk about P4 in a minute. It's his birthday today, by the way. Everyone say happy birthday, P4. Hey, everyone spam it. Happy birthday, P4. Happy birthday, P4. I need to see 100 of them. That's Pee Pee Poo Poo. That's Pee Pee Poo Poo. Happy birthday, P4. Spam. We're going to get him on stream. If enough people say it, we're going to get him on stream. Spam. I was here. Happy birthday, P4. Happy birthday, P4. Yo, like that? I came up with that shit on my own, P4. I came with that. I can't. HBDP4. HBDP4. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pee Pee Poo Poo, my fucking quant, baby. My quant, baby. All right. Okay, let's focus. Number one is escalate. Like, okay, we're gonna come to what I always say is like we're gonna see a river. Like we're gonna get to the river, so let's just go all in on the flop. I don't really know poker, so that's like a retarded analogy. Let me know. But on this Iran situation, it's felt like we are going to just respond to credible guy. I save that message. Tell me to do it in 5 minutes. I will. We're gonna just like see. We're just gonna get to the river, okay? Because at some point, we're gonna just hit a point where enough time has gone by where it's like, all right, we're either sending a fucking ship through and seeing what happens. We're putting boots on the ground. We're fucking blowing up an oil field. We're gonna see a river at some point, okay? And maybe all three are seemingly about to happen, okay? And by like get to a river, it feels like it. Oh my God, dude. Newton has re-entered with a lot, by the way. I put it in my chat. I'll explain in a minute. I gotta try to focus. I gotta try to focus. Lock in, thread guy. We're just gonna see a river, and maybe all three. And so the first thing that's happening is that the USS Tripoli has just been spotted passing Singapore at a high rate of speed. They are rushing to get 5,000 U.S. Special Forces and Naval Landing Group into position for a possible invasion of Karg Island, Iran, which has already been fucking bombed, and I believe is responsible for the vast majority of oil production out of Iran is Karg Island. So, I mean, let's watch a minute of this.
However, that change isn't going to be instant. An open source intelligence update shared by MT Anderson on X notes that the USS Tripoli is moving at a very high speed toward the Middle East. This can be tracked by satellite photos, which show the ship's wake is large enough to indicate that it's going hell for leather to get to the Middle East.
Wait, I didn't hear it.
However, that change isn't going to be instant. An open source intelligence update shared by MT Anderson on X notes that the USS Tripoli is moving at a very high speed toward the Middle East. This can be tracked by satellite photos, which show the ship's wake is large enough to indicate that it's going hell for leather to get to the Middle East. However, even at such a high speed, the ship and its grouping still have to make it to the Middle East from where it's stationed in White Beach, which is in Okinawa, Japan. The warship was spotted approaching the Bashi Channel that lies between Taiwan and the Philippines on March 12th, and it may take another week or two before it
Bro, there's 5,000 people on this boat. 5,000 Marines.
arrives in the Middle East. But that doesn't change the headline. The US is sending Marines and amphibious warships into the Middle East. This is Iran's worst
Does
nightmare.
that count as boots on the ground? Oh, it's going up. U.S. forces enter Iran. Poly market, 66%. It seemingly doesn't count as boots on the ground.
Nightmare, especially when it comes to the leverage that Iran has in the Strait of Hormuz. But before we get into that, it's worth taking a closer look at what a Marine Expeditionary Unit is, as that gives us some hints about what the US may be considering with this latest deployment. These types of units are among the most versatile that the US military has to offer, with the New York Times noting that they're often referred to as America's 911 force. In other words, these are the units you call in when you have an urgent problem that needs to be solved. Marine Expeditionary Units have been used for everything from conducting counter...
Dude, one of my best friend's dad growing up was a Marine. And, dude, he is a fucking badass, brother. He is a... Chat, do you know a Marine? By the way, fucking salute. Genuinely salute. And to the 5,000 Marines that are on this ship, headed in a beeline into the middle of war in Iran, may God be with you. Because holy fuck, that is a unreal task. I'm so serious, taking trades and everything. Brother, may God be with you and protect you and watch over you, because that is fucking gnarly. My boss is a Marine. Bro, he was a Marine growing up. I used to go to his house all the time. And I remember one time we had the school project, and it was like, you have to interview your like an adult that has a job and like figure out their job. And so I told my homie, I'm like, yo, he actually might be watching this, probably not. I'm like, yo, can I interview your dad? Like, I don't know anything about him. He's like got cool tattoos and he like yells really loud at our basketball games. And he's like, yeah, sure. Can you interview my dad? And so I like go over to his house in like 6th grade with a fucking iPod on and a microphone, and I interview him, and he's like, I'm like 10, and he's telling me stories about the Marines, like full serious. And I'm just like, holy fuck, this guy is a badass.
to piracy operations to being the first to lay boots on the ground during major operations, such as they were during the war in Afghanistan back in 2001. These are self-sustained and rapid response forces that are structured to offer air, ground, and logistical elements that are split into 4 groupings. First up is the command element, which serves as the headquarters for the unit and offers support to all deployed forces. A ground combat element serves as the Marine Expedition Unit's heaviest hitter in terms of pure combat force. That element typically contains a Marine infantry battalion, complete with artillery support, reconnaissance assets, a team of engineers, and amphibious vehicles used to make landings on enemy territory. Throw in the aviation combat element and you get some air power added into the mix. A medium helicopter squadron that contains various models of transport choppers is part of this element. A Marine Expedition Unit may also bring 5...
Okay. So they're headed to Karg Island. Oh my god. Holy fuck. How much oil transports through Karg Island? So we bombed this weekend. Karg Island is Iran's primary oil export hub, handling approximately 90 to 94% of its crude exports. Holy fuck. Totaling around 1.5 to 1.6 million barrels per day. Wow. Where is it on an island? On a map, I mean. Karg Island on map next to Iran. Open image and new tab. Oh, it's fucking tiny. This is it? That's the whole island? Wait. So in order to get to Karg Island, they have to flow through the strait. You can walk across it in a few hours. They have to go through the strait. No, that's how else are you getting there? You can't get there this way. They have to flow through the strait, huh? It's tiny. How big is it? It's 22 kilometers. It's 5 miles long and 3 miles wide. And they need 5,000 Marines. Wait. The math on that is... Hold on. It's 5 miles long and 3 kilometers wide. That's like nothing. And they need 5,000 Marines. How big is Iran in miles entirely? And Iran is 636,000 miles. Okay. I mean, when you start doing math on what boots on the ground here would actually mean, it is it's genuinely horrifying. Right? I mean, that math is ridiculous. And so there was an escalation in particular that happened this weekend that basically, okay, you guys know I had longs at 93, right? This is public info. I put it in the pit first. I don't tweet this stuff because why bring myself the evil eye? I think it's stupid to bring yourself the evil eye, but I feel comfortable putting it in the pit because it's like, you guys are my homies. So I'm happy to put it. I know no one in there is giving me the evil eye. I had longs at 93 and they felt pretty safe. It felt like if you lose that level, like confidently and get down in the 80s, it's like we're probably done, right? Like it's been manipulated down there so many times. It's hard to lose that level. And I woke up in the morning and crude oil and hyperliquid is like 97. And I just added. I didn't even look at who got the link. Jack, you can throw it in there if you want. It's pinned in Counterparty Core, the second link pin. If someone could throw it in there for the team. I didn't even look at what happened. I just added. And then I looked. I didn't even meditate yet. I just added because I just, I don't know. And so I then looked at what happened. Also, real quick, I'll answer that. TJ, why are you using CL as an instrument to express your thesis? Do you want my honest answer? Is that I've never traded oil before. And when I went on Hyperliquid to do my original long like 2 weeks ago or whatever, it had the most liquidity. And so now I'm just a crude oil guy. I gave an analogy. It's like, when you're in like first grade and your teacher asks you your favorite color and you're just like, oh, I don't know, orange. And then you're just the orange guy for the rest of your life. And you never really think what is actually my favorite color. I just got put on the spot in like kindergarten. And then now I'm like the orange guy. It's sort of similar to that, I think. So there probably is a better vehicle, but I'm just like locked in on the crude order books now. So yeah, that's my honest take. What should I be trading? Brent, maybe Brent. I don't know. What should I be trading? Do you think? I'm open to swapping it. Green, by the way, is my favorite color because I told my kindergarten teacher. Brent, probably Brent, right? I'm going to show you something fascinating I learned about Brent futures soon, but all right. So this is the headline. And now, if you think back to our resident, not to shit on him, I genuinely don't want to shit on him. I'm just being honest. Jonah, 30-year commodities oil trader, came on the stream and he was saying, moves a fade. And what would make the move not a fade is if the Strait of Hormuz is closed for over a month, catastrophic. And if they start bombing oil infrastructure, in particular oil fields, this escalates. And so I felt like up until yesterday, things weren't getting better, but they also didn't stop escalating. But okay, this is going to sound inconsiderate, but we got like bored talking about it on stream. Like there wasn't that much new stuff to cover. Views were down on war coverage across breaking points, across all these content outlets. Like it just wasn't news cycle escalating. Oil was flat. Am I wrong on this? I don't know. Like, it felt like there was like a pause in the action for like 48 hours after Monday, and it was like Tuesday and like a little bit of like Monday, Tuesday, there was just like a little bit of a break in the action. And then last night, we took things up a serious notch last night. And so this is the announcement. There's a video of this. I actually want to watch the video because it's gnarly. Tulip King Daniel, see if you can find the video. Breaking: Israel, U.S. hit major Iranian gas facility in Gulf. Iranian state media reports. And so it isn't just that they hit this facility, but it's the one that they hit. They attacked the largest gas field in Iran. They attacked its largest gas field in Iran, which is insane. Is this a good tweet? Let's see. See if you can find a tweet to DNAB about like how big it is, or I can just Google it. Why did that just come up? Bro, what? Why is that copied? What just happened? Look at this. U.S. and Israel began bombing Iran's gas infrastructure. Iran produces an estimated 70 to 75% of its natural gas supply from the South Pars fields that was currently bombed. And it's estimated that 80% of Iran's electrical grid is powered by natural gas. Look at this fucking video. Like, gnarly, completely gnarly. Let's look real quick. Iran gas field. Look at this shit. Look, bro, I mean, this doesn't even look real. Look at this. This doesn't even look real. Bro, this is natural gas. This is oil infrastructure. The energy infrastructure. We're just bombing infra. I mean, look at that video. It's horrifying. What is this that you just put in the chat? Let's look at this one too. What do you got? Here you go too. Iran is firing more, and they are hitting more per shot than during the first days of conflict. So let's see, what's this called real quick? South Pars gas field. How big is South Pars gas field? Bro, it's the largest offshore field in the world, supplying the majority of Qatar's LNG exports and 80% of Iran's natural gas production. It's the Iranian side of it, South Pars, which was bombed, accounts for about 36% of Iran's total proven gas reserves. Bro. And we're bombing this. Apparently, the official story was that Israel bombed it, U.S. approved. Where does Qatar has half. Is Qatar? Where does Qatar and the U.S. stand? Are they part of the GCC? Or no? Cool. So the U.S. is just fucking our allies too. Wait, let's see. They share it with Qatar. That's gnarly. Let's see. What is it? This right here? It's not the cleanest picture. Huh. Well, point is, by the way, yeah, we don't talk about this enough. There's this crazy, by the way, fucking hell, this is gonna be a hard stream to focus. There's this crazy clip of Zelensky, JD Vance, and Trump in 2025, where Zelensky basically says, you don't feel it yet, but you're blessed and lucky that you are protected with 2 oceans on each side, because you're gonna feel the heat. When it comes, you're gonna feel the heat. Right now, you don't, because you're protected. And Trump's like, don't you tell us what we're gonna feel. And JD Vance is like, did you even say thank you to President Trump? It's this whole, like, they do this whole thing. But yeah, we are blessed with our geography in the United States of America. I don't think, I mean, maybe it does get talked about a lot and I'm just new to the discussion, but it is, oh, that's where Please comes from, huh? And so Trump makes this post on Truth Social, and he says, I wonder what would happen if we finished off what's left of the Iranian terror state and let the countries that use it, we don't, be responsible for the so-called strait. That would get some of our non-responsive allies in gear and fast. And so we have to, like, there's a really difficult discovery process in Trump messaging where you have to figure out what he means, what he doesn't mean, what he backwalks, what he doesn't backwalk. But he's basically going back and forth on, we need our allies, to threatening our allies to help us get through the strait, to we don't give a fuck about our allies. And it goes bang, 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 bang. And then the answer is somewhere in the middle. I think the answer is somewhere in the, like, we are struggling. Like, openly admitting he's seemingly openly admitting, like, we're, like, in a little bit of a spot right now. We are in a little bit of a spot. I feel like he's openly admitting that time and time again now. And so he also initially posted this and spelled it straight. STRAIGHT is how he initially spelled it. Deleted, edited on Truth Social. But he's considering pulling out, which, by the way, as we're going to go through on the potential options here of what we can realistically do, pulling out is no longer an option. That isn't really one that we have at this point. You can't really just pull out of Iran, because I'm not sure what their incentive is to stop and reopen the strait. Like, for what? U.S. pulling out basically admits defeat. And so what the incentive is, if you're Iran, that is basically shown we can suffer for longer and you will feel it worse than us, a relative, is not really on the table. And so you're then left with solve it by brute force, which is going all in, which is a mess. And you could pull out and distract with Cuba, but it doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz. And every time, like, I've learned this now. Shout out our fucking team, is so smart. Tulip King, Daniel, Malcolm, all these guys. Every time you negotiate a deal with the U.S., they just strike you during negotiations. Or you negotiate a deal and then Trump comes back in a year and just blows you up and breaks the deal. Rules don't apply for the U.S. I guess that's the case, right? If you're the biggest fish in the sea, you can do whatever you want. And so this has happened to Iran like twice now, back to back, where they're negotiating and then they just get bombed, leader killed, blown up, attacked, ceasefire broken, whatever. And so I don't know. Why would they do it again? It's like unclear if they would do it again. And so they basically found this choke point to just bring pain to the United States of America. And they have no real reason to like back off of it. And so here's the market is like, yeah, maybe you're fucking right. Look at this thing. Daily on look at the daily on crude oil. Oh my lord. Look at the daily on this thing. It's horrifying. So Trump makes his post. There's this Quinn Thompson. I haven't read this yet, but he's a smart guy. I like him. He reads, Iran produces 4 to 5% of the world's total oil, making it the third largest producer in OPEC. Wait, what is an OPEC? OPEC is Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. Got it. Oil cartel. Algeria, Congo, Guinea, Gabon, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Libya, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, United Emirates, and Venezuela. First chatter. Welcome. Okay. Let me find that again. Making it. What did you miss till now? You missed this, Star-Lord. Oh my God. Look at it fucking. We're talking about escalations, brother. Welcome back. I low-key have a big position back on this trade. We'll talk about it. I don't want to be that guy that like it pumps and I'm like, oh, I called the bottom, by the way. But I'm gonna I'll talk you through exactly. I mean, I'll talk you through what I did. All right, let's read this. Iran produces 4 to 5% of the world's total oil supply, making it the third largest producer in OPEC. The best case for this conflict just took a leg lower. I agree. At best, this ends in the next 1 to 2 months and the Strait reopens, but it came at the cost of structurally removing 4 to 5% of the world's oil supply. Ends in the next 1 to 2 months and the Strait reopens. What would reopen it, though, is what I don't understand. What would reopen it? Worst case, the Strait does not reopen for much longer than that, and much of the world's oil supply is severely hampered. Crude oil is trading like Newton's about to get laid, by the way. It's trading like Newton's about to get laid. Focus, threadguy. Focus. 1. Eliminating Iran's oil production was likely a later stage resort from the U.S., as it is not ideal to create a more lasting supply shortage. Eliminating Iran's oil production was likely a later stage resort from the U.S. and is not ideal to create a more lasting supply shortage and price spike. I agree. These attacks on oil infrastructure were largely inevitable in order to choke off Iran's primary revenue source. However, far from ideal. This is escalation. It signals the U.S. believes they need to go for the jugular as their only way to win this war, but it comes at a cost of removing a large portion of global oil supply and causing structural price increases. This is the escalation of the war, and while there may be hopes on the U.S. side that it forces them to the table, it is more likely to harden their defensiveness, increase desperation, and violence. This means attacks on neighboring countries, energy infrastructure, and civilian targets. Yes. I think that is exactly what just happened. You never corner a rat. This was actually an Epstein email, I think. You never corner a rat. Epstein said this about Trump, actually, and why he would bomb Iran. If somebody could pull out, that'd be insane. You never corner a rat because a person with nothing to lose, stuck in the corner with their back against the wall, is really dangerous because they are severely unpredictable. And so the U.S. and Israel, with seemingly no real win condition in place, has cornered a rat. And the rat is being unpredictable. No, the rat is actually being fucking predictable. Doing exactly what everybody with half a brain, I think, thought would have happened. If you had given me 3 weeks to prep on geopolitics and then predict what I think would happen if we were to bomb, I could have called this. Okay? But now the U.S. is almost playing from behind. It's a lot like March Madness, man. It's a lot like March Madness. It's like you're a 1 seed. You're Virginia. You're playing UMBC. a 16. One is never lost before. You don't feel like you can lose. But the longer you let them hang around, the scarier it gets. And then all of a sudden, you're in the second half, and there's 10 minutes left in the game, and it's tied, and they make 3 threes. You turn it over, they make a layup, you're down 11 points, and you start pressing. You take a bad shot, you force a lob, you do an unnecessary trap on defense, and you're the behemoth, but all of a sudden, Israel's the refs. All of a sudden, you're... all of a sudden, you have this like superpower team and you're making bad decisions, bro. And so this is actually a really good post. Quinn Thompson. Eliminating Iran's oil supply was likely a later stage resort from the U.S., as it's not ideal to create a lasting supply shortage and price spike. These attacks on Iranian oil infra were likely inevitable in order to choke off their primary revenue. So they felt like they have to do it to force Iran to get back to the table. But it signals the U.S. believes they need to go for the jugular, bro. The U.S. is saying we got to come for it all. Pause. Really, it is. It is. That's what they're saying. It's the only way to win is to really create like long-lasting pain. That, to me, is what this says very clearly. And then this escalation of the war. This is escalation of the war. And while there may be hopes on the U.S. side that it forces them to the table, it's more likely to harden their defensiveness, increase desperation, and violence. They have cornered a rat. This means attacks on neighboring... Let's see if I can find that. No, I can't find it. It's okay. We'll find it at a later date. And so, DNAP Tulip King, let me know if I've anything I've missed from purely escalation before I move on to the Jeff Curie video, which is so good and a must watch. But then this came out. Okay, cool. 1, 2. Breaking. Iran has issued an urgent warning calling for the evacuation of petrochemical facilities in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. And they like labeled it on a map. It's crazy. Evacuate, because they're going Arab. What did I say? Arab. My fault. They're going for the jugular. Arab. They're going for the jugular here. And then the last thing, which is just unreal, is Representative Josh Gottenheimer just filed new stock trades. He filed for his first ever purchase of XOM. He sits on the House Intelligence Committee, brother. Quote, yeah, Hormuz is probably staying closed for a while. Dude on the Intelligence Committee decided to go all in to XOM at all-time highs. He's buying now. Brother, he's buying now. He's buying now. Where's the chart here? I have it somewhere. Hell nah. Duck and bag. Well, first chatter, welcome. Look at this. He's buying now. Thought I was in Feb. I was in early February. Narrative violation. Narrative violation. Narrative violation. Narrative violation. Narrative violation. That's even worse. It means he knew it was fucking happening. Tell me he bought Exxon Mobile and then we coincidentally bomb Iran after. It's fucking worse. It's worse. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. These people are allowed to trade. It's disgusting. So this is where we are right now. And it's disgusting. It's a fucking by the way, it is a ever-loving disgrace that these government officials are trading stocks. It's so just ridiculous. Don't even get me started on the family buying defense companies in the middle of the war. I'll leave it alone. It's just an utter disgrace. Honestly, it is just a disgrace. It should be Insta report. I want phantom wallet noties. Okay, phantom wallet noties on government officials trading stocks. I don't want. It's like if you're a government official and you're gonna trade a stock, I want to get pinged. I want to get pinged on Phantom Wallet. Pinged on Polymarket. I don't want this fucking 1 month. Give me a fucking break, dude. You guys are disgusting. All right. Here's the deal. You guys remember this fellow? You guys remember this fellow from early in the coverage? You remember this fellow? Guy who told us exactly what was going to happen and told us to get tits fucking long? Yeah. Well, he did his second interview. He did his second interview, and it's fucking a must watch, and so we're gonna watch it. It's 10 minutes long. Yeah, that guy. I told you get fucking dick deep long. Yeah, he did another interview. I also just reached out to his PR team. If anyone knows him, please do me the favor. I'm gonna get up real quick. I'll be back in 30 seconds, and let's go. Baby. Go without the song and further thinking there. Probably could have skipped that one. All right, look, let's go. Let us go. Jeff Curry, new video out. Big one, important one. Let's fucking watch it. Let's go.
Jeff Curry of Carlisle writing this.
By the way, if anyone knows his team, please, man, please.
Cost of rebuilding and recovering from the Hormuz shock will be enormous and underscores the regime change towards physical assets. Jeff joins
What's the price before we start? Oh, man, it is.
Us now for more. Jeff, welcome to the program. It's always good to catch up with you, sir. Fluid environment, so allow me to go through the headline of the last 5 or 10 minutes or so. One headline, one report coming from Iran that their energy assets have been struck. Now, I have limited information beyond that, but Jeff, from your standpoint, in the week since we last spoke, has this got worse or better?
Worse. I like to call it molecular contagion. You know, last week we were talking about shortages in Singapore. You know, prices of jet fuel spiked to $230 a barrel. This week, you know, it's in Rotterdam. Rotterdam's $220 a barrel. Thailand, Philippines, New Zealand, Australia. So this thing's going intercontinental. And then, you know, so you look at Singapore, Rotterdam, the spread, there's no more price spread, there's no more spare barrels, there's no policy fix, and it's just physics at this point. And I want to emphasize, these are physical supply chains, and that the idea of around financialization and the ability to print money doesn't apply here. And I think the title of that piece says it all. You can't print molecules.
Jeff, with that in mind, where and how...
Wait, you can't print molecules is a bar. Where is that from? What did he reference?
How do you think we're underpricing this risk still in financial markets?
Listen to this guy.
That's the peculiar thing about this, is that you look at the paper markets, they've entirely disconnected from the physical markets. Crude oil on an Oman basis, on the other side of the strait, the side that's free, spiked to $173 a barrel yesterday. Crude delivered in Asia is a blend of
$173. What is the difference between paper and physical? Like he's saying futures versus actual purchasers. You can't print molecules. Such a bar. I'm tweeting that shit. Is that right? Can't print molecules? Is that what he said? So like the actual transacting versus futures and like markets.
A barrel yesterday. Crude delivered in Asia is a blend of Dubai and Oman, which is trading somewhere around 130 and 170. Today, this morning, they're call it 120 to 150.
How do you track this? How do you track
You're delivering crude into Asia at somewhere around $130 a barrel. Product prices are spiraling above $200 a barrel. So the disconnect is between the paper market, which is sitting around 100, and the physical market, which is showing a very different environment.
Jeff, some people have speculated that's because of certain types of manipulation in the futures market, and that's the reason why you have seen this gap blow out. Do you think there's credence to that?
Say it.
Say it. You could argue that Monday last week, there was a mysterious 11 million barrel seller. I don't want to get into that. It's not enough to really change the dynamic.
Mysterious 11 million barrel seller. Wait. Wait. 11 million times 120 is 1.3 billion. Jesus. Oh my God. Calvin did come here and tell us we called him a fucking lunatic. To be fair, he is nuts.
I think that the bigger factor that was likely driving WTI and Brent and staying lower is the price of Urals, Russian crude oil. It's rallied $65, $70 a barrel once they took off the sanctions. So WTI and Brent were the high-cost barrels. The Russian was the cheap. What happened? You closed that gap. And now that you've closed that gap, you don't have any more spare barrels in the system, and this rest of the complex likely to start to rally. I go back to the point that John started with is, we're dealing with an enormous supply shock. By the way, the supply shock is almost equal to.
I feel like the market has been trying to convince us everything's fine. Still, even when I sold,
to the demand shock during COVID. And we know what that did to global supply chains. So I think at $100 a barrel, this thing's mispriced, even against the physical market.
There is a sense, though, that this time is.
Where are we at right now? All right, focus, that guy. Focus.
A bit different than, say, the 1970s in terms of the world's reliance on oil, especially China, how much they've diversified to electric vehicles, to nuclear energy, and other places as well. How much do you think that is going to be the growing trend, to diversify the sources of energy in myriad ways beyond what we were doing, even during the so-called Green Revolution, as people try to avoid these types of shocks?
Well, I absolutely argue that the renewables, nuclear power, are born out of the 1973 energy crisis, and this is going to unleash an enormous amount of investment into renewables, nuclear power, and other localized energy sources. The problem, though, is we call this the new dual order. The problem is that we haven't got to that transition where we have electrified everything, localized it. And the type of oil consumption that's left in the global economy is critical. And so if you pull those barrels out of the system, the rippling factor, the cascading effect through global supply chains is going to be significant. You go from gas to urea to fertilizers, fertilizers to the dinner table. Or you go from LPGs to synthetic fibers to cotton. You switch out of soybeans and corn into cotton. By the way, I think the best sector to try to get value in right now would be agriculture, because it hasn't priced it in.
Agriculture hasn't priced it in. See, I had been saying for a while, I feel like there's a better trade than crude oil, which is the second or third order effects of the supply chain. But what the fuck do I know about fertilizer stocks? What do I know about wheat, brother? Hey, everybody right now, spend the next 5 minutes while we're fucking watching this. Find me a trade.
Jeff, when it comes to barrels coming off the market, this came from an industry consultant in terms of China. They're looking at potentially a drawdown in commercial and operational stockpiles amounting to as much as
What do I know about oil? Nothing, but I know about the fucking Strait of Hormuz.
1 million barrels a day. That can happen over the next 4 to 6 weeks. What would that mean for the price of crude?
I think the key point is once you exhaust those inventories, there's nothing left. Think about it this way. You have demand up here, supply down here. Once those inventories are exhausted, boom, you have to bring demand down in line with supply. And to do that, you're going to need prices far higher than where we are right now. I like to do the mirror image of COVID. Let's go back to COVID. It was the exact opposite. You had a situation in which you had demand up here and, or excuse the other way, you had supply up here and demand down here. And so what happened? The demand collapsed. Eventually you filled all the inventory capacity in the world and you had to bring supply down in demand immediately. What did that require? A minus $37 a barrel price to create that rebalancing of supply and demand. Now we have the exact opposite environment. So just imagine what it's going to do to require that reduction in demand to bring it in line with supply if it took a minus $37 price to create that rebalancing back in 2020.
So, Jeff, I'm going to ask you the question. What would it take? What's the opposite?
I'm going to stick to the same answer I gave you last week. Get long, buckle your seatbelt, and hang on for the ride. We'll
Get long, buckle your seatbelt, and hang on for the ride.
We'll know when we start to get to that point where the system starts rebalancing. But I want to emphasize, don't underestimate the type of volatility. If you take European gas in 2022, we saw Russia cut it. And by the way, the market ignored it in June of 2022. By August and September, you were at $300-400 a barrel. You know where prices were in December of that year after you destroyed so much demand? They went negative. So I'm not going to say oil's going negative, but what I'm trying to tell you is it's going to...
What does it mean when oil goes negative? Like, what does that mean? What do you mean negative $37? Like you're paying to get rid of it? I'm sorry, what? What? Minus 40? Minus 40? Dude, what? Huh? Did everybody know about this?
That's the sound of an American.
Minus 40? I got liquidated at minus $11? Bro. It was pretty well known when it happened. I was trading Pokemon cards. Dude, are you fucking... Wait, so how does this work? Wait. How big is an oil barrel? 42 gallons. So they would pay me $42 to take this, is what you're saying. They would give me $42 and say, take this from us. If you physically will take one of these, we'll give you $42. That's what happens? What was the minimum? Wait, hold on. There's a loop here. Like, how much size? Like how much size? Like 100 barrels? How many barrels? $100 barrels? Bro, you're telling me you couldn't rent a fucking storage unit? Take on 100 barrels? Who printed? Please tell me someone made a trade. Please tell me somebody printed on this. Oh my God. Please tell me there's like a legendary trader. Some fucking math teacher bought a storage unit, bought a warehouse, and just stacked it with oil and is dumping it in everyone's face at $100 a barrel. Please, God, tell me there's a story for that. Please. Please. So many regulations to store that shit. Oh my fucking God. It was negative $40. Holy shit. Everyone's like, oh, threadguy, you're retarded. Fuck you, bro. You call me retarded because I just found out it was negative $40. I call you retarded because they were paying people $40 to take oil and you made no money. So you're the fucking retard. Fuck you. Malcolm, thank you for the 20 gifted. Bro, what? You're not allowed to call me retarded if you weren't taking on oil. Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear a fucking word. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. Please tell me that there is a story about this. Luke, send the video again. Send the video again. Wait, we got to finish this. 3 minutes.
Going to be a really bumpy ride. You've seen.
How old was I in 2020, bro? I was 18. Wait, which just got deleted? What the fuck? Did everybody knew about this but me? Oh my God, dude. This is why I should have gone to college, huh? What was I doing in COVID? I don't even know what I was doing during COVID. I convinced my fucking mom to buy me a Nintendo Switch so I could play Animal Crossing for like all day. The Essex Boy. Case of traders accused of manipulating markets heads to trial. Judge unseals evidence of WhatsApp texts between UK-based men reportedly made $700 million. Please don't tell anyone what happened today. Prices dropped below zero. We pushed each other so hard for years for this one moment, and we fucking blitzed it, boys. That sounds awesome. Just keep selling it every 5 points. You got to keep selling. Everyone's going to short, and we have ammo. Fucking mental. I want to see negative prices. This is illegal? Why is this illegal? It's just... Why is this illegal? There are margin requirements to buy negative price commodities. Oh, are there? Dude, I watched Jesse Livermore write about this all day. How he's like slamming sells. Between 96 and 99% of the trades were highly correlated. So they... in the same direction at the same time. Whoa, they're doing 30% of the volume. Oh my God, okay. Dude! Always Sunny, the gang solves the gas crisis. Wait, is there more info on this? Dude, we have to learn about this. It's 22 minutes. It's tough. You can't watch it right now. Can someone post a pit link? Hey, someone post a pit link. D-Nap, maybe could you post it? Tulip King, maybe. This is the Essex Boys. What does it mean? There's a movie? No. Wow, this is an unreal story. Okay, I feel weird talking about this too excitedly because they're gonna go to jail. So I want to use my words carefully here. But I mean, this is the shit that I live for. Markets, man. What's better than a fucking capital market, man? Are you kidding me? What? Are you fucking kidding me? Oil went negative $40 because two funds with a fuck ton of money pushed it down through 30% of the volume? The oil big short? Stop it, bro! Stop! All right, quick scan. We'll go back. Quick scan. Look. Quick scan. Paul Cuddles comments. Bro, Paul Cuddles? What? What? Explain this. What part of it's criminal? What part of it is criminal? He was a veteran commodities trader who earned his stripes in the pits. In the pits. Bro, stop. In the fucking pits, bro, of the London International Petroleum Exchange. An algorithmic and HFT trading went mainstream. He started his own operation, Vega Capital. Oh my God, chat. The Legends XXX group chat, bro. Fuck, I want to watch it. I want to fucking watch it, man. Oh, I want to watch it so bad. Oh, I want to watch it so bad. I want to watch it so bad. I have to. I'm sorry. I have to watch. I need to watch it so bad. Oh my God. I need to watch it so bad. I'm watching it. I don't give a fuck.
On April 20th, oil markets did something they never...
Oh my God, the intro is going to be insane. Oh.
On April 20th, oil markets did something they never had before, and they crashed, went into negative territory and closed the day at minus $40. Meanwhile, in a place called Essex Boys in Essex, a group of 9 traders, led by a guy called Cuddles, made $660 million over the course of a couple of hours.
The price of oil has collapsed to a record low.
We've never really seen anything like it.
WTI this morning down more than 35%.
People maybe wouldn't have been so surprised if the oil price had fallen to zero, but the oil price went to minus 38. It went far lower than anyone had expected. And so lots of people in the market were saying, well, hang on, something else is going on here.
A couple of months later, I started to get wind through a kind of network of sources that a tiny firm in the outskirts of London had made a huge amount of money that day and potentially had some part to play in what happened.
The information we got was that 9 traders at Vega Capital London had made in the region of $660 million in one day. As a group, I think they made as much money in one day as Apple makes from its international sales in one day. I mean, it's an insane sum of money.
Did they pull off a fantastic trade? Did they predict the way the market was moving and get it absolutely right? Or was there something else going on, and had they actually done something that breached market rules in a bid to sort of push them?
Can you imagine this brother Cuddles in the pump fund order books?
And that investigation is ongoing.
We have to watch a couple minutes. Just a couple. Just give me a couple minutes, please.
So Paul Commons is a trader who cut his teeth in the pits in the 80s and 90s. When everyone had a nickname, his was Cuddles. If you can imagine, that was a very sort of cutthroat type of world where people are doing, you know, hundreds of thousands and millions of dollar trades by shouting at each other, giving hand signals and then sort of scrawling on scraps of paper.
The culture of the trading pits in London was very influenced by the working class guys who became traders there. They weren't like the city bankers that had gone before them. They weren't usually Oxford or Cambridge. You know, they didn't wear Savile Row suits. They were ordinary working guys who happened to have a talent for trading. And a lot of them came from Essex.
I think it was 400 traders in the pits, and Cuddles in his oil and gas pit was described to us as amongst the top 3. In amongst that, was very successful and made very large amounts of money as a young man. But inevitably, mechanisation and the arrival of electronic markets was the kind of death knell for the pits. And in 2005, the IPE closed down.
And when the pits shut down, a lot of the traders who worked there lost their jobs or quit or went to work for financial institutions. But Paul Commins decided to start his own trading collective out in Essex.
Some of them are ex-pit guys, cut from the same cloth as him. Lots of them are actually sort of in their 20s, and they're his, drinking buddy's son, or they're his own kids' friends from football. They're young lads, hungry and ambitious, and he brings them into the fold. And fairly shortly, he's got, maybe a dozen or so traders. They're independent, let's be clear, but they're all part of his collective.
This is literally us, except for the illegal jail part.
Yeah, I'll let Liam deal with Essex.
I am from Essex, so I feel like I'm free to, to get into this.
Sweet, as they say.
If you were to ask someone in Britain how they would imagine a kind of Essex person, they would see someone who's maybe slightly flamboyant, with a sort of Cockney accent, a sort of Guy Ritchie-style accent. Not afraid to splash the cash, but it's probably pretty bright and has done well for themselves.
Doesn't even make sense, does it?
But, these guys, they drove around very nice Rolls Royces and Bentleys. They went to places like Marbella on holiday.
Threadguy Boys is a very wealthy place. You have to have considerable income to be able to afford to live in that village. It's a really nice place to live, and it's 20 minutes tube ride away from the city.
I don't think they did it. They didn't do it. They did not do it.
Earlier in the summer, we have this lead, which is that there's this tiny firm called Vega Capital London, and they were the biggest winners from the biggest oil crash in history. Anyone that covers markets is going to be surprised about that. You're thinking your BPs of the world or your Glencores, but it's this tiny firm.
And one of the big challenges...
This is like our chat outperforming Citadel on crude longs.
...that we had was actually finding out who...
They're watching the stream.
...worked with Vega Capital. It wasn't immediately obvious, and at first we had absolutely no idea. If you go to the Vega Capital website, it says it's under construction. If you do basic online searching, it's very difficult to find anyone who's publicly connected to the company.
So inevitably, we're incredibly curious at this point. Like, who the hell are these people?
The more reporting we did, the more it became clear that this group were connected socially as well as professionally. They went to weddings together. They played golf together. They would go on holiday together. We found out...
Oh my God, dude! Oh, why else do you do it, man? Like,
that a number of them were members of the West Ham Supporters Club in London. A few of them started companies together, so you could see all the connections between them and start to see a distinct group emerging.
And it really just was this kind of shock that, this wasn't just like a hedge fund or a firm you'd never heard of. This was actually a group of buddies who all had the same experience on this day and had all made a huge amount of money.
This is like what it's all about!
So if you're an oil trader, there's a number of different ways you can trade, and probably the most popular is WTI futures contracts.
And it's basically a contract that says, I'm going to buy 1,000 barrels of oil from you at this point in the future, or I'm going to sell 1,000 barrels of oil to you at this point in the future.
It's actually just a financial contract to gamble on to predict whether oil is going to go up or down.
On the 20th of April in Essex,
just a bunch of lads watching West Ham football, crushing pints and making 9 figs, crashing the oil market to negative $40 a barrel. I mean, y'all mind if a white boy have a little fun?
There have been signals for a while that this was going to be an exceptional day in oil markets. And we know that some of them arose early and started their trading in the early hours of the morning while it was still dark outside.
Essentially what they were doing is buying contracts that gave them an obligation to buy oil at whatever the price ended up at 2:30 p.m. So they're basically placing a bet that oil is going to fall throughout the day.
But they're simultaneously selling lots of oil as well. And whether they make a profit and how much profit they make is the difference between what they buy the oil for and what they sell the oil for. Now, of course, we now know throughout April 20th, the price dropped and dropped.
So this is going very well for them. They are committed to selling oil at these prices, and the prices are continuing to fall, which means they're going to be able to offset it and buy oil at cheaper at the end of the day. Now, once it gets to kind of 1:30, 2 p.m, that's when things start to get really interesting. Suddenly there's a kind of influx of buyers and sellers. Desperation increases in the market and trading volumes go up. Now at 2:08 p.m. exactly, something bizarre and unprecedented happened, which is that oil passes into negative territory.
and it fell to a record level of minus $38.
We've never seen anything like it, period, in terms of the contraction of the global economy.
That huge gulf between...
Dude, what the actual fuck was I doing on April 20th, 2020 that was better than this? What the actual fuck was I doing? I was playing fucking Animal Crossing. I was playing fucking Animal Crossing, bro. Give me a...
Between what they were buying the oil for and what they were selling it for, enabled them to make more money than they ever thought possible.
So their profit was the difference between minus 37 and all of these positive numbers on every contract they sold.
The price of crude briefly hit minus $37 a barrel. For one group of traders operating from a small office, it was a very, very profitable day.
It's important to remember this had never happened before in the history of oil trading. No one could have predicted it.
I can't think of another example of where you enter a trade and you get paid on both sides. You get paid both to sell and to buy. It's unthinkable.
Wait, they got paid, they bought short futures, and then they got paid to sell them as well on top of the unrealized P&L because it was negative? Is that what you just said? Is that actually what you just said? Can I go back?
Sold.
The price of crude briefly hit minus $37 a barrel. For one group of traders operating from a small office, it was a very, very profitable day.
It's important to remember this had never happened before in the history of oil trading. No one could have predicted it.
I can't think of another example of where you enter a trade and you get paid on both sides. You get paid both to sell and to buy. It's unthinkable.
One thing we know about the Cuddles trading arcade is that they were very comfortable taking large risks, and you have to be clear, this was a large risk.
Yeah, we spoke to oil traders, both people that know these guys and people that don't, and they all say that this is, incredibly risky.
And that's actually what stops a lot of oil traders doing trading like this. They simply aren't willing to stomach the risk. But Cuddles and his friends were.
So when the kind of final calculations came down, the group of the 9 most profitable traders made $660 million or thereabouts between them. I mean, if you can imagine, I think 3 or 4 of them made in excess of $100 million each.
One of the astonishing things about this trade is that 2 of the individuals who made more than $100 million in a single day were in their 20s. One of them was 22 years old. Only a few years earlier, he'd...
It's like fucking Animal Crossing, man.
And the law firm was a pain for a global market for oil. It was inevitable.
So the fact that one of those numbers in that
is losing it. And here he is a few years later making $100 million. One of them was 22 years old. Only a few years earlier, he'd been posting on his social media.
We see the Supreme, bro.
About doing teenage stuff with his mates in town and going to...
I was doing teenage stuff with my mates in town.
See girls and rap music. And here he is a few years later making $100 million in a single day's trading. When me and Ian discovered that, we were just... We couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe what we were seeing. Oil trading is a zero-sum game. Anytime you're making money as an oil trader, someone else is losing it.
Amongst the biggest losers were the investors.
I deadass wasn't even seeing girls. I was playing Animal Crossing, bro. You think Animal Crossing guys are getting girls? Seriously? Do you think Animal Crossing guys, the Animal Crossing crowd, the power users of Animal Crossing, you think they're fucking? No.
In this Chinese fund, crude oil treasure fund, there were thousands of them and they lost everything.
Lots of people had put their savings into oil funds. They lost money that day. Big banks and brokers who sort of stand in the middle of trading parties, they lost money that day.
And another interesting thing is that oil-producing countries like Kuwait or Canada, they sell oil as an average of the WTI closing price over the preceding month. So the fact that one of those numbers in that average was minus 37 meant, if you can imagine, countries like Saudi Arabia and Kuwait potentially lost a couple of dollars on every single barrel of oil they sold that month.
Vega Capital's traders made such an extraordinary sum of money that it was inevitable there would be some scrutiny of what they did. It wasn't just the sums of money they made. In the vital half an hour before the settlement price was set, they were by far the biggest sellers of oil futures in the market, which is an incredible thing to think about when you consider that the other participants in that oil market are going to be the world's biggest banks, oil majors, BP and Shell, and here you have...
Who the fuck are they?
Have a group of 9 guys in Essex who are having a significant influence over a global market for oil.
I mean, I think you have to assume that if these guys have made $7 million or $10 million, they probably would be celebrating in Essex right now. But the fact that they made closer to $700 million has meant that they are facing understandable scrutiny.
We wrote individually to all the Vega traders who did exceptionally well that day, and we got a letter in response from a law firm representing the group. And the law firm was at pains to point out, number one, that they haven't been accused of any wrongdoing, that they all traded independently and separately, and they'd basically all made up their own minds that this was what was going to happen in oil markets based on publicly available knowledge, and decided to execute this trade.
What I love about these stories is there's a real variance of opinion, and some people will look at what happened and think that must be dodgy. They all traded at the end of the day, they all made a huge amount of money while all these people lost. That's shocking. But lots of people say these guys are at acute disadvantage. They're in a market that's inhabited by, huge technology-driven funds and firms and oil giants that have got all the advantages in the world, and when you get a bunch of Essex geezers who essentially beat the market and find a way to make a huge amount of money, they should get a pat on the back, really, because that's the dream.
What do you think? Honestly, what do you think? They go against Jane Street and Citadel and Jump and HFT and Exxon and the biggest in the world. They pull together $50 million and they crack the oil markets in London. Free him, brother. Des Bryant.
Since this happened,
bro,
a
it's
lot
like,
of the guys...
okay, look, I don't have any actual lore, so what do I know? But they basically just beat everybody else that beats the market. Like, they beat the guy, they cheated the cheaters, basically. Dude, should we rename the pit to Vega Capital? Oh my God, call it Essex. Should we rename the pit to Vega Capital?
Stop trading the money.
Chill, they're in jail. I don't want to foreshadow that.
These settlements that they've done so well at in the past. Several of them have set up new companies. They've essentially gone very quiet. Any kind of social media presence they had is kind of closed down. By all accounts, they're waiting this out.
It's certainly too early to try and predict how the regulatory investigations are going to pan out. We just don't know. There's a number of potential outcomes for these guys. Potential punishments if there are any findings of manipulation against Vega or anyone affiliated with it might be you could be fined, you could be banned from trading, and in the most extreme cases there have even been criminal prosecutions in the past.
Banned from trading? Oh my God, that is like the worst thing you could ever do. This video is it's 4 years old. Led by a guy named Cuddles, the future is now. Some people can't stomach the fact that 22-year-old made more than they'll ever make in their lifetime. Here you go. Anytime a small group of traders make it big, there's always an investigation. But when Wall Street or the city does it, it's never a problem. 22 years old making $100 million a day is going to be the greatest trade ever. Wow. Where... Dude, my computer is so throttled. Where is Vega Capital now? Let me try to close some tabs. Where's Vega Capital? Oil traders. They don't know about Nassim. The Essex Boys are navigating a U.S. federal class action lawsuit investigation regarding their alleged manipulation of oil futures in April 2020. A Chicago judge certified a class of traders suing them in June 2020. Who's suing them? Citadel? Like... Wow. That was one of the greatest videos I've ever watched in my life. That was legitimately one of the greatest videos I've ever watched, ever. Unreal. We should just do a week stream where all we do is just cover the greatest trades ever. I mean, bro, they did it. Look up Nav, the guy who crashed the Dow 9% from his parents' bedroom. Bro, I can't keep doing this right now. We have stuff to cover. Nav crashed the Dow parent. I can't do it. 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 I can't. Just 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, just 30 seconds. I'm just asking for 30 seconds. That's it. 30 seconds, that's it.
15 minutes of chaos that shook the world's biggest market.
What the heck is going on down here? I don't know.
Just 30 seconds. 22 more seconds.
Oh, there is fear. This is capitulation, really.
All the way down. On May 6, 2010, without warning,
it's the same guy.
The US stock market and futures markets just crashed.
Can't be there. That is not a real price.
The flash crash, which wiped $1 trillion off the value of American companies in 5 minutes.
To look at a price chart, it looked like a kind of runaway elevator.
It took authorities 5 years, guys, to track down this lone British trader allegedly involved in a 2010 flash crash.
Navinder Singh Sarro, dubbed the Hound of Hounslow, has been accused of
The Hound of Hounslow?
manipulating the market. US regulators claim he made about $40 million.
So Navinder Sarau, he seems to be, to all intents and purposes, like a sort of arch criminal mastermind. What they find is very different.
We're in a working class neighborhood, about 11.
I can't do it right now. So how do you do it? I can't do it right now. I can't do it right now.
Miles from the city center in the financial district.
It was hard to believe somebody trading this size was just a lone trader, but that's where we were.
I think it's ridiculous to say that this guy...
That's your wife, though? No! Big Joe knows about the Dow crash? No! The Stalwart? Big Joe? Not Mutual? No!
This house in the suburbs in England
Took down the market?
It's ridiculous.
You know, if he really did, as the U.S. prosecutors allege, make $40 million, 3 people have now said to me, well, then why the heck is he still living on our street?
On the one hand,
Fucking cold. He looks fresh as fuck. He looks fresh as fuck. All right, we gotta get back. I'm sorry, we have to. We'll come back to it. Market's trading like this. We gotta get back. We have to. We'll just do one video a day until we watch every reaction video that's ever happened ever. I gotta pee really bad though. Let me get up. Another 30 seconds, first chatter. All right, you all have a conversation amongst yourself and tell me what you think. BRB, have a conversation amongst yourself, figure it out. Y'all talk amongst yourself. Okay, what decisions y'all come up with? I have a take. And my take is that if there was a way for traders that really knew how to trade to eloquently articulate to women and the general public what you do and how you traded crude or how you traded Bitcoin, you would have a higher SMV than NBA players, professional athletes. If the problem is traders don't know how to do it, if traders knew how to actually articulate what they do and what goes into the process, you would be getting laid more than pro athletes. You just would. Like, the equivalent to Cuddles sending crude futures minus $40 in one day is genuinely way more impressive than Bam Adebayo scoring 83 points. Like, it's not even close. It is not even remote. There's like 5 Bloomberg original trader stories on my feed right now that are more impressive than Bam scoring 83. It's not even close. It is not even close. If there was a way, if the world actually knew what the good traders do, you would genuinely be swimming in it. Like, you would have so much sex and hold on. You would, bro, if there was a way to actually articulate to the world what you do, even in fighting in the Solana trenches, you would be so much cooler than professional athletes. It wouldn't even be, bro. Flood's hyperliquid trade is more impressive than Bam Adebayo scoring 83 points in a game. It's not even close. It is not even remotely close. There's nothing about these two things that are even at all the same. At all. Don't try to make them the same. They're not. One is cool. Bro, it is. Hold on. It's like, you think Bam Adebayo, bro, you think Wilt Chamberlain would have the foresight to go long crude after the Strait of Hormuz shut down, and then Scott Bessent throws out a scam headline shorting oil futures and announcing the SPR, and then you do the math and you realize they can only release 2 million barrels a day because they live in fucking salt caves and they have to push water in to push the oil out. If you pull any more than 2 million barrels out, the salt cave will fucking implode. And it only accounts, even if you got out 2 million a day, clean only counts for 2 million out of 20 million missing barrels a day. You think Wilt Chamberlain would have the fucking foresight to make that trade and long it from 84 to 102 on 2x leverage on hyperliquid? Like, you think Bam Adebayo would know how to do that? It's like, no, bro. Of course not. I mean, how many people in the league can score 70 in a game? Like, if it was the entire game plan and you were just chasing stats and it was, I want to score 70 in a game, how many could do it? I would argue a lot. A lot of guys could do it. Shea could do it. Jokic could do it. KD could do it for sure. LeBron could do it. Luka could do it. Reeves could do it. Tatum could do it. Brown could do it. Donovan Mitchell could do it. Harden could do it. Keontae George could do it. Şengün could maybe do it. Jalen Green could do it. Booker could do it. Bro, Jordan Clarkson could probably do it. LaMelo could do it. Actually, it's crazy. How many are buying oil on the closer of the straight? None, bro. All right, should we just watch a couple minutes? A couple. You want to watch a couple more minutes? A couple.
And, you know, he was a kind of common cheat.
He purposefully manipulated the markets.
On the other hand, he's this kind of genius kid on the wrong side of the tracks. He just decided to almost stick 2 fingers up at the man and the establishment. And I think everyone can kind of relate to wanting to do that.
The Hound of Hounslow?
I'm Liam Vaughan. I'm an investigative journalist with Bloomberg in London, and I'm the author of a book called Flash Crash, which tells
No, there's a book?
The story of the 2010 flash crash and Navinder Singh Sarao, the British day trader who was accused by the US government of causing it from his bedroom. So Navinder Sarao was, in a lot of ways, quite an ordinary kid from a working class neighborhood underneath the Heathrow flight path. had a bit of a gob on him, was always very kind of fast and quick-witted, but also a little bit quick to kind of anger. He had this gift for multiplication and for rapid thinking and for arithmetic. After university, he opens a newspaper, and it's the Evening Standard, and there's an advert in there which says, wanted futures traders must work well under pressure, which, as you can imagine, is not how they typically recruit, staff at JP Morgan. But this was a job at these kind of fledgling entities that were known as arcades at that point in time.
All the learning takes place on the trading floor among some of the best traders in Europe.
Essentially, you eat what you kill. And that's something really powerful when you're seeking a career where you make your decisions and profit in those decisions on a daily.
You eat what you kill is so good. I can't watch. I can't focus on now. My energy's out. I'm done. We're gonna have to come back. You eat what you kill is gnarly though. It's fucking gnarly. Let's finish. Can we finish this video? Let's finish this. I'm sorry. It's a 180 on energy. Let's finish this. We have to finish this. Unfortunately, we do. We have to finish this. We have to. This is we have to finish this. All right, let's go.
No evidence of demand destruction that rebalanced this market yet. So we haven't even
the hound of Hounslow
really started the rebalancing process yet. So the upside here, I would argue, is substantial. Again, we want to be long. And I look at the market. It's shorting energy stocks and getting long everything else that is short energy. I think you're picking up pennies in front of the steamroller right now.
Jeff, we buckled up. That's why we have you on again this week. Can you give us a range of how high, though, prices could go? I know you don't want to give us an exact definition of where you think Brent oil is going to hit, but give us a range of when you say get long. I mean, how long are we talking?
But look at Oman's already traded at $173 a barrel. Jet fuel in Rotterdam is $220 a barrel. In Singapore, it was $230 a barrel. And we haven't started the rebalancing process. All we have seen is what happened places like Thailand and China hit export bans that then create ripple-on effects and shortages. Then you have the hoarding that begins to take place. You're $8 a gallon gasoline in Los Angeles right now. So, the upside here, again, I don't want to speculate on how high, but you've already witnessed something like 173 in the physical market. So that's my point here. There's a massive disconnect between the physical world and the paper world, and the paper world includes the financial world. I like to point out it was in January of 2020 when COVID hit. I remember I was looking at the what was going on in China. It was the second largest economy in the world, just shut down. Stock market rallies, oil is hanging in there, not selling off. And I'm going, guys, we got to get short this thing. You can't hit the global economy with a shock of that magnitude and not expect bad things to happen. And we have the exact mirror image of the same similar size shock hitting the world right now. And the market on the paper and financial side is not keen off the signals that it's providing at this point in time.
So, Jeff, at some point it gets real for the market. And with COVID, it was when the northern Italian cities started to shut down. There was a sense that this was getting real, that it was spreading beyond China, it was hitting Europe and could hit the US as well. What makes this get real? What closes the gap between physical and paper markets?
I think it has to be visual images of real shortages in.
This is a crazy take, by the way. What was going to make it real is visual images of shortages. That's scary. By the way, Joey, I didn't text you back, but I'm hyped, twin. I just thought of it. I'm hyped. I'm super hyped. Visual images, bro.
In the United States and in Europe. Now, the U.S. will be hard, particularly if they do export controls on that. Europe will likely be the first one to hit. And I think the implication here is the U.S. believes it's safe because of energy dominance. And this is the point I made it last week. From an equity market perspective, that equity market in the United States is a global market. All of those Mag 7 companies earn their earnings in Europe and Asia and all over the world. So when this energy crisis begins to hit places like Europe, it's going to impact the earnings of those companies that sit inside the U.S. because the U.S. equity market is not a U.S. domestic market. It's global, so it'll feel the impact. And I think that if the Americans are going to feel it first on the wealth impact before they'll ever feel it in the at the income cash flow level, the Europeans, unfortunately, they're likely to feel it at both sides relatively soon.
That is Jeff, who I think has traded this whole thing very well.
You believe that even if there's a ceasefire tomorrow?
Here is where we current. So he was on 7 days ago. He watched it, and he was saying even if there's a ceasefire today, we're in trouble. That's what he was saying. Even if there's a ceasefire today, we're in trouble on oil. And it traded as such. Here's where we're at right now. I think while we were doing... Okay, wait. Jeff Curry reminded everyone once again, the supply shock now is almost equal to the demand shock during COVID. Oil had to go to minus $34 to clear that. And so the same, oh my God, this is the fractal mirrored. Okay, the same level of panic that sent oil minus 34 would send oil to 165. That's insane. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so he said the same level of what's the exact quote? The supply shock now is almost equal to the demand shock during COVID. The supply shock now, where there's no supply, is equal to the demand during COVID. That's nuts. And so the fractal has it going from 110 to 165 in a day. Who's going to be the new Cuddles, huh? Okay, look at this. Who sent this? Thank you. David, thank you. This is historic divergence in oil prices across regions. Oman crude prices are up to $154 a barrel, crossing 150 for the first time ever. At the same time, Dubai crude is up to 130 a barrel, while Brent is trading at 102 and WTI/CL at 93. In other words, the gap between Oman and U.S. prices now stands at 65%. How is that possible? By comparison, just before the Iran war, the difference between all benchmarks was just $5 in February. It's now 60. Dude, they're doing some fuckery in the books, right? They gotta be, huh? They gotta be doing fuckery in the books, right? Brent and WTI are priced based on U.S. and European supply conditions, while the actual disruption is concentrated in the Middle East, meaning they do not fully capture the severity of the physical shortage yet. If the strait does not reopen, this divergence will narrow, and Brent and WTI will ultimately reprice higher once the U.S. and European oil reserves are depleted. The global oil market cannot sustain prolonged Middle East disruption. Wow. Oh, fucking wow. So here's what Polymarket says. Let's go Iran. Ceasefire. Even by December 30th, it's just dropping, flatlined. It was high. It used to be 87, something down a lot. Ceasefire, then U.S. forces enter Iran. This is the one to watch, in my opinion. 66% and rising, ready to curl. Honestly, horrifying, scary chart. Really scary chart. And we are here on crude. And so it then gets to the point of, where do you hide in markets? Oh, wait, I missed the, real quick, I missed the Trump taco. TradFi. Here he is. What a handle, by the way, TradFi, huh? Okay. I mean, look at this. Trump wants no more strikes on Iranian energy sites. And then we dump. We were watching a video, but I'm watching the chart. We dump. And then immediately after, 7 minutes, Trump could once again be open to targeting more Iranian energy facilities depending on Tehran's future actions in Hormuz. And then, boop, candle right back. What? Like, what are we doing? What? Look at this. Back to back. Back to back is gnarly. And so, yeah, it's nuts. It is nuts. It's 8D chess. No, it's fucking 2D chess, I think. And it's gnarly. A double taco. Market doesn't even really react to his tacos like that. Like, because he knows we're deep. On no more strikes on Iranian infra, we dumped 1%. Full retrace. So it knows we're deep. And then it brings up the question of, where do you hide? And so Garrett posts this thing. DXY is at DXY at 100. This is the dollar. Let's see. DXY, what does it actually measure? Dollar currency index, like the dollar versus like the yen. What does it actually measure? What does DXY measure versus the yen and the won? Okay, it measures the value of the US dollar relative to a weighted basket of 6 major foreign currencies. It acts as a benchmark for the dollar's strength in global markets. Tracks against the euro, mostly the yen, the Great British pound, the Canadian dollar. I thought it was the Swedish. Oh, okay, Swedish krona and the Swiss franc. Mostly the euro. And it's candling. Look at the daily. Wow, can you long this? Can you easily long this? No. You can't easily long this. Why can't you long this? Look at this thing. Looks like it's going for a gnarly breakout, huh? Peep this. 1, 2, 3, counts 4, counts 5, counts 6. Chat, there's no such thing as a what? As a 7 top, bro. 7 top isn't a thing. And so
Conviction.
Sextuple top. Go to TA. Fei Zhao came on stream and said this. I really liked it. I really liked it.
And right now is honestly on my big.
So all the bears, by the way, respect to them because I have mad respect for anyone that takes a position directionally in the market and posts it publicly because that is fucking hard. Okay? That is fucking hard. And all of these bears have probably been relatively right, but they've expressed it by shorting SPY or SPX, which has been not going well. It just is frustrating. It's very frustrating to do that. I've also never really made money on the short side, not in like a good trade.
Conviction right now is honestly my big conviction right now is honestly on the US dollar rallying the Dixie. A lot of the stuff going through the Strait of Hormuz impacts Asian economies and the European economy.
This is a good stream.
Japan is highly dependent on the flows coming through there, and other Asian markets and that sort of thing. Like Qatar's LNG capacity, all that volume that goes to those countries. The US is actually, this is the first major oil shock where they're largely energy independent. Like we had the US shale boom in the 2010s. So the US is actually in a much better spot than in 08 when we saw the last like big oil surge other than in 2022 or like the 1970s. Like the US can actually produce its own oil now and be largely independent. You can't say that about those other countries. So my thought process is that this is a really bad way worse for Asian markets and European markets than the US. I actually think the dollar will rally because all these other countries are probably going to go into recession if this holds on for much longer. Like you just can't operate under this situation. And then at the same time, like so when I look at how central banks are reacting to this situation, this plays into the currency thing, is like the Bank of England's pricing in a rate hike right now. The ECB, like Europe, they're pricing in 1.5 hikes. BOJ is kind of unchanged, and then the Fed are the only ones that are still mostly pricing in a cut. I mean, it's less cuts now. It's like 1 versus 2 that it was just a week ago or a couple weeks ago. So that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me for Europe to be hiking into this situation because the demand destruction side of things is going to be a lot more acute for them than the US. The US has plenty of oil and energy and their reserve currency. Like I think the US is actually in a much better situation than these other countries, but the currencies don't reflect that yet.
So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, all right, you know, this is what I'm thinking to myself, is I'm like, I'm on this journey. I am now more than ever. I really am right now. I used to be on a journey, like I want to be famous and I want to interview like important people. And now I'm just like, I'm really on this journey that I want to be a great trader. Like I really want to be able to say that I make money consistently in markets in all conditions. Because if I can do it, then you can look at me and be like, if this fucking retard can do it, I can do it. But if I can't do it, it's harder for you to be like, okay, this retard can't do it. I'm kind of retarded too. I'm not sure I can do it. So I have to, if I can't do it, otherwise, if I can't do it, the whole authenticity of the stream, I think, is like, it's not like jeopardized, but it doesn't hold up the same way. Like there's something about me being like, fuck it, I'm long oil. Doing the thesis with you guys in public, getting it right, and then it going up, and you guys being like, all right, we just like watched how the fucking meat was made, right? And so like that's why I'm so proud of that trade. And so I'm being very critical of my my trading now, and I'm thinking about this like Feijiao-ism of I never short, I just like go cash when I'm bearish. And I think the worst trading mistake I've ever made, honestly, is full porting Bitcoin, bro. And I initially did it at 80K on the way up, 80K-ish. Had some buys at 75, bought up to 85, average is probably 80. And it was up a lot, round tripped. Now it's basically like flat, whatever. But the problem with being so overweight on an asset like Bitcoin is that you don't have the flexibility to flip bearish, go cash, and then buy lower or make a different trade. Luckily, I have capital that isn't just in Bitcoin. It's probably 75%. I have capital that isn't in Bitcoin where I could make the trade, like the crude trade. But I had this magical number in my head of amount of Bitcoin I want to acquire. Okay. And I said, when I acquire X amount of Bitcoin, I've made it. I had a make it number on BTC. And I hit it. I acquired it. Like, yeah, hell, yeah, clap, clap, clap. Well, no, not clap. Don't clap for shit. Because why would I assume that I could just like go, I could actively trade my way to the number, and then I could passively hold it, and I could be stimulated and satisfied. Because being stimulated is a big part of this, right? Like, part of putting your net worth in, bonds or whatever and just fucking off is having control over your dopamine to put your money in bonds and fuck off, right? Like, that's a big part of this. And I put it all on BTC, the Citadel number, and I'm like, I'm going to make it. And I am going to make it, obviously. Like, there's no scenarios I don't make it. But to just make it by sitting in Bitcoin and doing nothing, retarding Bitcoin and doing nothing, while actively trading markets and thinking I can make money actively trading markets, which I really believe that I can, it just like contradicts itself. And so I've been sitting in this Bitcoin, but then you get in a tough spot, which is like, all right, am I going to sell Bitcoin at 75K or 71K? The asset I believe in the most? No. What? How stupid would that be? Why would I do that? Absolutely not. Was I going to sell at 50? No. Why the fuck? Why would I do that? And so the problem isn't holding an asset long term. I think the problem is holding too much of it. Because over 50%, like, the problem is actually this magical number. The whole number syndrome is real. The whole number syndrome is like a very, very, very real thing. And so I hit the whole number, and now I'm like, okay, now I'm just frozen. I can't do anything. And so I think at some point here, I have to get back down to 50% instead of like 75, 80. Because it makes it really hard to do anything. And going all in one asset and thinking you're going to do nothing for 10 years is like assuming that you've made the decade-long correct decision. And that's a crazy... I do believe that I'm right. Eli Fish, thanks for the gifted. But that's a crazy assumption to make. You're staking a lot on that, right? On this, like, being your... Like, it can be your best idea right now. But is it going to be your best idea in 10 years? It's like, I don't know. Chat, what was your best idea 10 years ago? It's probably some dumb shit, right? Your best idea 10 years ago is probably some fucking dumb shit. You're probably dating some girl you hated, or had some job that sucked, or like had some whack ass friend. Like, well, you probably did some dumb shit 10 years ago. I was. What was I doing 10 years ago, bro? I'm 24. I was a freshman in high school, bro. I was doing some dumb shit. And so if I took my best idea 10 years ago and annualized it out a decade, I'd be fucking broke and retarded. I'd be broke and stupid, bro. When I was 14. Like, Now, was I starting on the varsity basketball team? Yeah, as a freshman. Yeah, I was. So I'd probably still be cool, but broke for sure. Broke for sure. FIFA Pro player, that's funny. My best idea was Bitcoin 10 years ago, but I needed money to eat and I had no income. Should have got ramen, though, bro. Should have picked ramen instead of that fucking Red Lobster. Was that Red Lobster date really worth it? I was like 5 Bitcoin. Nah, I'm just trolling. I'm just fucking with you, sir. Weekends. You're here now, buddy. That's all that fucking matters. As we're here now, fucking talking about crude oil. That's all that matters. Having money in college is not something you're supposed to do, by the way. Most kids are playing COD. Yeah, I know. I fucking know. So okay, basically the long-winded way of saying I think this express bearish views in cash short term is kind of elite because there's like nowhere else to hide, bro. You know, look at these markets. Where else are you hiding right now? Oil futures, SPY crushed, Q's crushed, software crushed, NASDAQ crushed, Dow worse. Bitcoin pretty bad. Zcash crushed. Gold worse. Gold's worse. And so that does bring me to this, which I think is very interesting, is Fei Zhao sent me this today. And so what was happening for a while was crude regular was going up. See, this does not have like extended hours. Why does it not show like the current price? I don't like TradingView. I don't. You like 15-minute? No, I don't know why it doesn't show. But okay, it's not that important. It's just intraday session is important. So what was happening was crude was going up, and then long dated futures were not moving. And so people were basically pricing in this war. Like if long dated starts going up, like 2027 crude future starts ripping, that's people being like, okay, fuck, this shit's gonna go up, right? But those being flat or red in like January or whatever, March 26 going up means like people, it's just like a short-term move, right? And so he showed me this, and I made a watch list for it. So I have let's see if I can stretch it out. Will it work like this? No. Okay, so look. So this is regular. This is April 26. April. This is May 26, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and then January 27. And so what you'll notice is that the backdated futures are ripping on crude. Like, can you see this? So like regular crude down 1%. April up like basically flat. May flat. But then June 26. Bro, can you ban this kid? Get this shit out of the fucking chat, man. Please ban this kid. For the Lord. Thank you. Fuck my life. Mods focus, bro. The mods are focused on fucking crude futures. Look at this. June was up 1%. July was up 1.5. August was up 1.8. September was up 1.9. October was also 1.9. November was up 1.9. December was up 2. And January 27 was up 2.1. And so now the backdated crude futures are ripping up 2.1, where normal was red on the daily, closed red. And so Yeah, the market is basically like, fuck. This conflict is going to go on for a long time. Yeah. It's basically saying fuck is what it's saying. Literally, it's genuinely saying fuck. And so it's very worth, I didn't follow it at all. I hadn't followed that at all. It's very worth following, and we'll see what happens. But these backdated, yeah, look, here you go. Here's another post. This is all like crude futures. These backdated futures are starting to fucking rip. Which I guess we'll see. And so that leads me to my position. Okay? My position, which we made it a long way without me talking about it. I had my initial trade at 102 crude on HL. I sold. Okay? And then it basically crashes reasonably hard. And at about 93.3, I think was the exact number. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I didn't sell because the war was over. I sold because I made enough money and I wanted to be done. But at 93.3, why not take another stab? So I took a fourth of my profit. I slid the leverage slider up. And I basically was like, if I get stopped out of this, the war's over. I gave back a fourth. I'm fine. Or if we get the inverse of the 2020 fractal, which I now know about it, I won't be miserable. I don't want to be miserable. And so I put it on, and then I've just basically sat here and did nothing for like, I put it in like here, right here, like right on here. I put it in. I just sat here, did nothing. And then I put it on a fourth of my profit on 5x, which I don't really fuck with leverage, bro. I'm very like, okay, no, I don't not fuck with leverage. But again, this is one of those trades that if you're going to make it through, it's just going to be a mess. Even Jeff Curie guy was like, it's going to be fucking rocky. Beston's fucking with you. Trump's fucking with you. Fake headlines, taco, price controls. It's just not, like, this isn't a 20x trade. You're not making it on 20x. And so I put it on, I did nothing. Okay? And I'm going to be completely honest. ISO. I'm going to be completely honest. I woke up this morning and I see this candling. And I see it break this level, or I see it like about to break this level. No, 5x. This trade was like, I already made a sick oil trade. I was happy about it. I was satisfied with the profit, but price got low enough. Thesis didn't change. And I said, fuck it. I'll make some COPE insurance. That was the thesis. I'm going to just do COPE insurance. If I lose it, I don't care. But if it goes to where I thought it was going to go initially, I'm not going to be like fucking, miserable. And so that was it. Small size, nibble, just like stay exposed, be smart about it. I probably shouldn't have full stacked it, but I happened to be right on the exit. Like, it happened to just work out. I wake up this morning. First thing I do, by the way, I wake up like 3 times a night every night, and it's I check crude oil futures. Is the first thing that I do every morning now. And I wake up and I see this thing at like 97.5, and I'm going to be honest, I just doubled my position. Should I have done it before I meditated, before I journaled? No. I shouldn't have done it, but I just was like, dude, I don't even know what happened. I'm adding. And I added. I fucking added. I did add. I added. Not crazy. Still less than 50% of my profit. But a reasonable clip. And the first thing I did was I went on Twitter and I typed out a tweet and I said, Newton re-enters with a lot. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to jinx myself. Fuck that. And so my average entry now was like 95.5, 94.5. And yeah, I added a little bit. Was it smart? I don't know. But there was severe escalation. And the thing about the escalation too is that they did it during the week. During the week. They didn't wait till Friday night when they had 48 hours. They did it during the week. So this felt like not just the escalation in their actions, but also in their approach. In their approach, escalation. That's an escalation in their approach, right? This is This is like an out of character type of move from the way this war has gone. Now, I don't have any history to base off prior wars, but I just know how this war is playing out. That was uncharacteristic for them to do. The action was also screaming escalation. And so I added a little bit. Now, do I have more size on this thing than I probably want? Yeah. Is it significantly less than where I sold initially? Yes. But I don't know. I'm kind of like having fun trading the oil stuff. I am. Like, I'm enjoying trading the oil stuff. And I feel like we have a pretty good finger on the pulse where I don't feel like a complete and utter retard. And so I think your RR here still is not that crazy. You're still betting on something that hasn't happened in 20 years to really play out. I'm not going to give up profit on this. Like, my entry's 94.5. I have my stop loss slid the fuck up. So I'm probably going to get scam wicked out of it. But I'm not going to give money back. Any real money on this is not going to go back. But I'm just updating you guys on how I'm trading it because I don't know. We've spent all day covering oil for the last 3 weeks. So that is where I'm at trading oil. Who was the guy that kept telling me to address Credible Chris? I don't know what he says because I haven't blocked, but I'm happy to address it if you have a take on it. Yeah, I don't want to give Besset my money. Now, real quick, a 180 is there was a crypto announcement that I think is huge news. And I'm excited to share it, even though it's already been public. It's just fucking good to see. Twofold, which is the S&P, Dow Jones indices, and Trade XYZ have joined forces to launch the first official S&P 500 perpetual contract available exclusively on Hyperliquid. For 69 years, the S&P 500 has been a defining reference point for global finance. Until now, access to that benchmark has been totally shaped by market hours, intermediaries, and geography. Today, that changes. The S&P 500 perp is now available 24/7, 365, anchored by the official index required for deep liquidity and institutional confidence at scale. SPDJI helped define modern indexing. They are stewards of an iconic benchmark, the standard against which portfolios across the globe are measured. We are honored to bring that legacy on chain. Trade XYZ is bringing the world's most iconic assets toward a future of global continuous markets, a future powered by Hyperliquid. 24/7 markets are here. And they're going to be huge. And everything is just going to be crypto. Everything's going to be crypto. Everything we've been saying since we started this stream in fucking June or whatever, it's just happening. Everything is crypto. Everything will trade 24/7. Everything will have access to meme, hot ball of money liquidity. And this is, yeah, it's a huge news. It's like Stussy X Chrome Hearts. It's huge news. And so Hyperliquid is just Hyperliquid's trading like it. Hyperliquid is trading like it. Also, there was this announcement from the CFTC yesterday that is crazy how it got like overshadowed. The SEC and the CFTC just dropped a landmark document that officially classifies crypto assets. They're actually telling us which assets are securities and which ones aren't. This is something Gensler refused to do. It's almost like the Clarity Act just passed by the way of regulator. Of course, actual clarity will harden this onto legislation, but okay, the rule says 5 categories for crypto assets. 1, digital commodities. Assets tied to a functional decentralized crypto system. Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, XRP, ADA, Doge. Not securities. Huge deal. 2, digital collectibles. NFTs, meme coins, artwork tokens, in-game items. In-game items is a big one. Not securities. 3, digital tools. Membership tokens, credentials, domain names, e.g. ENS. Not securities. 4, stablecoins. Payment stablecoins under the Genius Act are not securities. Other stablecoins, it depends. But They gave this framework for how to become Genius compliant. 5, digital securities. Tokenized versions of traditional securities, like tokenized stocks, always securities. No more enforcement threats to Ethereum developers and crypto exchanges. Mining, not securities. Staking, not securities. Wrapping Bitcoin, not securities. Airdrops, not securities. No more geo bans protecting Americans from free airdrops. Big deal. And so, yeah, it's a huge announcement for crypto. It's crazy it gets overshadowed. But the biggest problem with crypto for so long was that if you were a talented developer and you wanted to build something, you weren't sure if you were allowed, if it was legal. You didn't even know if you could do it. Is it legal? Is it not? Am I going to get persecuted? Am I going to go to jail? Am I going to go to prison? Am I allowed to do this? Crazy that was the case for so long. Crazy that was the case here for so long. So crypto is going to be just fine, guys. It is. It's going to be just fine. I love the stablecoin thesis, by the way. We should get back to no one's going to trade crypto anymore with 24/7 stocks. I disagree. No one's going to trade garbage alts, but it's like a competition metric. It's like, cool, if you want to make tradable assets, make shit people actually fucking care about, right? Feels fair to me. We should just watch this every day now. Stablecoin market cap. Does it do 24 hours? It do 24 hours right now, huh? Change 1 day down 0.3%. Change 30 days up 2.57%. We're gonna watch this every day. Stablecoin minting is important. And yeah, this is where we stand, guys. This is where we stand. I feel like every day that goes on, I understand markets better, which is really exciting. It's very exciting to feel that way. Like I actually have a grasp on things. It's fun. And it feels like the world is paused for this Iran conflict to figure out how it's going to resolve. The problem is I don't think it's going to resolve for a while. I actually think it's much worse than markets are trading right now. I think it's been much worse than markets have been trading for 3 weeks. I think that spread, remember I told you for a while, I kept saying there's a spread between how markets are positioned and how out of control the Middle East situation's gotten. I kept saying this like on Friday. I feel like that spread is tightening a little bit. It's gotten like a little bit tighter. SPY is in a weird spot. Oil's ripping. And so when you say Trump should just pull out the taco, the problem is he can't. I don't think that he can. Because he doesn't really have the option to just pull the taco. Because there's no ceasefire agreement. We'll maybe I want to draw this out tomorrow, so I'll save it. I think it'll be a fun thing. We got a little distracted. It'll be a fun thing to do tomorrow. Draw really game theory it out. We'll really game theory it out tomorrow. But all right. The way TG gets so juiced for a 4-year-old Bloomberg finance video is how I know I'm in the right place. Facts. Can't fake that shit. The thing about the taco is like, okay. There's no ceasefire agreement that Iran is going to agree to. Because any ceasefire that the U.S. would want to agree to would mean that they have to open the strait and they have to give up nuclear efforts. They're not going to do that. It's like, you came here, you destroyed us, you fucked us. We're not going to do that. The other option is Trump declares victory and leaves, which would probably get the strait open, but you leave Iran with nuclear capacity, which is how we got here in the first place, right? Like if Trump just like, okay, let's think about this scenario for a second. Let's say oil spirals out of control. Oil spirals out of control. Brent is $150. Like things are getting disgusting. SPY is gapping down, circuit breakers go off. Like, we really get worst case scenario. And Trump's like, has no choice, but I got to pull the plug. I got to pull the plug in Iran. And he pulls the plug, declares victory, which I had thought for a while was a viable solution. You can't pull the plug because pulling the plug probably gets the straight open. I think you could get the straight open on backing out, but you don't get to stop their nuclear build out. And so you pull the plug, you maybe get the straight open, you show weakness to the entire world, as in, like, yeah, we kind of like he could say whatever he wants on Twitter, but everybody that knows is paying attention knows what just happened. And Iran keeps their nuclear capacity. And so we end up back in Iran in like a year or 2 years. And so that's why he can't just back out. And then the third is outright win. And we've been at this for almost 3 weeks. And so very clearly, if we could have outright won already, we would have done it. And so outright win means severe escalation. Boots on the ground, more than the 5,000, overtake Karg, destroy all oil infra, like really go for the jugular, which it feels like we're setting up to do. You also have to take into account, like, does the U.S. stopping mean like Israel stops? And how will that affect oil? And so when you really think of the three options, it's like ceasefire is probably impossible. Trump declaring victory leaves us with a huge crack and makes us look weak as fuck. And then Trump goes for the all-out win, which means escalation. Severe, like intense escalation. Like something that hasn't happened in 20 plus years in the United States of America level escalation. And is there an option 4? I'm not sure that there is an option 4. What is option 4? Option 4, I talked with Claude about this. Option 4 is that we've done enough damage and the regime change just happens in Iran and like we live happily ever after. No. No. Option 4 is impossible. Option 1 is impossible. And so you either back out or go for the nuts. And it feels, I don't know, feels like we're going to go for the fucking nuts. Am I being blindsided here? Am I missing an option? Is there an option that I didn't consider? I'm not sure that there is an option I didn't consider. Nukes? No, you can't do nukes. That's option 5. Can't do nukes. If option 5 is nukes, there's no way. 1, 4, and 5 have no shots. 2 or 3. Can't do nukes. You drop a nuke and the whole thing. By the way, there's also a scenario in which you... Hey, somebody find that Epstein rat thing for me, please. It's about Trump. Please find it. Look up like Trump Epstein rat. There's also a scenario that I was reading about where you push Iran so hard, you go for the jugular, and they just deploy whatever they have on a nuclear weapon, like whatever they got. They just let it go. Which would be, I mean, that would be figuratively nuclear. That is a scenario as well. They just let it go, whatever they got. You push them so far into the corner. You trap the rat that has nowhere to go and it just fucking explodes. That's a thing too, right? Like that is possible. I don't know how bombs work at all, but I was talking to Claude and they could launch like whatever they got, just let it blow. And so Iran is a trapped rat and Trump is low-key a trapped rat too. They're trapping each other. One is just like a giant rodent and one's like a mouse. But yeah, I mean, what do they got? I don't know I don't even know how a nuclear bomb works. Is what I'm saying completely impossible? Oh, he found the link. He found the link. Is what I'm saying just like completely impossible? Like, what do they have? What do you think they have? No, they don't have functional nukes, but they got like, can't you just fucking hodgepodge some shit together and go big boom? Like, okay, here you go. Here you go. Here you go. This Jeffrey Epstein predicting Trump would sell out his country if he was cornered like a rat. Files were partially released as a threat. It's either America dies for us or else your reputation dies. This war is not about freeing Iran. Israel just needs their final enemy dead. And so it's from December 20th, 2018. I know, I'm not reading, I'm reading the email. And Epstein sent to somebody and says, could be he doesn't want them there if a much bigger operation might put them in jeopardy. Reminder. He will take everyone down with him if he feels the end is near. I always urge people not to corner a rat. They become extremely dangerous and unpredictable. Not okay to read a Sneeko tweet, but it's fine to read an Epstein email. Yeah, corner the rat. What is a dirty bomb? What is a dirty bomb? What is a dirty bomb? I mean, is it like just like what it sounds like? Whoa. Does Iran have dirty bomb capacity? Whoa. They're widely believed to possess the capability to develop a radiological dispersal device. They smear pee-pee poo-poo in the missile. Dude, come on. It's his birthday. It's his fucking birthday, dude. Dude, it's his birthday. What do you mean? I hope you're running banned territory. On Twitch? For what? Well, Iran focuses on enriching significant stockpiles of radioactive isotopes in civilian. Wow. They could make a dirty bomb. And GTA, obviously. That is nuts. In game. In Age of Empires. Huh. Okay. So that's what Claude told me, was like they could rip it. If they got that corner, they could rip that. Fine. You could put on a list if you search that. Probably, right? So what's the trade? Uranium? I don't fucking know, dude. You're asking. I don't know. If Iran drops a dirty bomb, do we buy uranium? I don't even know how to answer that. Joey Ballknower. So when I think about where we're at right now, it feels to me the most likely outcome is Trump winning. Going for the win. And it is not a scenario that it's going to be gnarly for this to happen. Like, okay, real quick, before I get lost, do you agree with my options here? Am I being blindsided and missing an option? Am I missing an option? Because I don't think that I am. Also, we'll watch. Let's save Joe Kent for tomorrow. I'm going to save it for tomorrow. Am I missing an option? I don't really think that I am. And so, Iran targets Yahoo option. So, yeah. I think, like, Trump can't declare victory. We're past that. We are genuinely past that. Also, there's a reasonable chance Trump wants to declare victory, and they're like, no, we're not opening the strait. We're not going to open the strait. And so he's got to just, it feels like we're going jugular, bro. The possibility of Iran opening the strait if the U.S. pulls out is underweighted. I agree. Why would they not open the strait? No, I think they would open it. But there's a chance they don't. But then they build nukes and we're back. We end up back. And so it feels to me that I know nothing. I just know I know everything you guys know. You probably know more than me. We just know what we've covered on stream. But the vibes feel to me like his only option is to go for the win. And the win is gnarly. Absolutely gnarly to go for the win. And so, I don't know, guys. That's why I re-entered. That's why I re-entered. How does he win without boots on the ground? You don't. Oh my God, Tucker paywalled this shit. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't want to subscribe.
The gold in.
Are you fucking kidding me? Strays open in 1 week max. How? Explain to me how. I'll take your take seriously, but how is it open in a week? If it could be open in a week, it would already be open. What changes in a week? What's your exit signal? I get stopped out at my entry. What would change in a week? Is what I don't understand. What would change in a week? 5K Marines? Maybe. Oh, TP? I'm in a trade now with small size, high leverage that there's no TP. Yeah. This trade, there's no TP. This is like the second. This is the lower conviction, like stab trade. This isn't the like high conviction Chad trade. This is the like Hail Mary. The brain rot. Yeah, this is the Hail Mary chat. Oh, fuck my life. Am I gonna fucking pay for this shit? Fucking kidding me? Oh, it's only $6 a month. Nah, it's fine. How much you spend on subscriptions this month? So much. $70 per year. 2FA. 2. I mean, yeah, I just paid him $72. Tucker Carlson. You know, I met Tucker Carlson once. He told me he would come on stream.
Was actually fairly pragmatic. They were preventing themselves from developing a bomb, but they still wanted the ability. They wanted the ability to enrich. They wanted the ability to have some components so that they weren't completely stripped of it. And when we always assessed that they were either several months or a year, 2 years away from actually being able to develop a nuclear weapon. And that's not because the Iranians are stupid people. I think we can tell right now that the Iranians are anything.
Dude, he's such a
stupid.
Chad.
They had the ability, I think, that the brain power to actually develop one, or they could have simply.
Am I gonna get fucking? I need to think about that. Fuck. Fuck my life. Tucker, dude. Sorry. I didn't realize it was showing. I just paid $72. It auto ran. My OBS is broken. I had the wrong screen on. I didn't know it was showing. I just paid $72. I had the wrong screen on. I didn't know it was showing. I had paid $72. I had the wrong screen. I didn't know it was showing. I had the wrong screen. I didn't know it was showing. My OBS was broken. I switched it. I turned it off. I didn't know it was showing. I did not know it was showing. Okay, that's gonna make it really hard to do a stream about this tomorrow, huh? That's gonna make this really hard to stream it tomorrow. Huh. We're gonna have to rethink our strategy for tomorrow, huh? I'm out. I hit my quota. I'm out. No. I'm out. This was a fun stream today. This was a fun fucking stream today. This was a fun stream today, guys. I'm not gonna lie. What do you think? What do you think of where we're at right now on streams? The OGs, especially. What do you guys think? What do the OGs think? Good streams, bad streams, in between. Where are we? Streams at its peak right now. Any first-time chatters that want to speak now, if ever hold your peace. It's Aura. J-Dogs with a gifted. From 4 months ago, it's night and day. My guy. We need another TJR stream. Chat. I have a Telegram. I only share it to the OG stream watchers. That's it. We're in a very good space. Very minimal fluff filler. I've been doing so little fluff filler. Been trying. I share my Telegram. It's just for you guys. It's just for you guys. Given, thanks for the gifted. And I talk in there all day. It's like my paid group, but it's free. I might make it paid, by the way, not grandfather anybody in. Imagine I did that. Love you too. I'm covering it. Sorry. What if I just make it paid and don't grandfather anybody in? Would that be sick? But if you're new here, I'm live. It's not just for us. You spam it every stream. I'm live every day at 3:30 p.m. EST. We cover whatever's happening, wherever the money is, wherever there's money being made, we're talking about it. Wherever markets are hot, we're covering it. Whatever's going on, I'm talking about it. There's no better place to get your info, to get your coverage, to get your analysis. If there's a good guest, he's coming on. She's coming on. And whatever. We just do it. So I love you guys to death. Pro Trader 332, first chat. Welcome. I love you guys to death. I appreciate you to death. And I'm going to go take a nap. First chatter. Mango adult. Interesting. Should I raid Rasmer? Fine. Good luck. Guys, good luck. Good fucking luck. I love you guys to death. I appreciate you so much. Tomorrow, you know where to be. Every day, 3:30 p.m. EST. It's actually more like 3:40. Thread, the industry guy. Crack Mama. These aren't real names. First chatter. Vega Capital. Everyone go tell them about Cuddles. And hey, get in the Rasmus stream and everyone ask him about first chatter. Squid Squack. Everyone get in a Rasmus and ask about Vega Capital and Cuddles. And if he doesn't know who it is, make fun of him. All right, peace.
On the entire global macroeconomic state of the world right now. But I'll tell you what we did today is we went into the geographics of Lebanon and we broke down the different regions. We broke down where my dad is from and we got all the alpha. All right, we're hitting Lebanon and W fucking threadguy stream.
Epstein rate is crazy.
His chat stays the best. Best chat of all, actually second best chat of all time. Bro not talking about Cuddles. Guys, I joined a Twitter Spaces and the entire Twitter Spaces said I was chopped. The entire Twitter Spaces.
It never happened.
Guys, I genuinely want to know if you guys think I'm ugly because if I'm ugly, I'll just hop on test. I need the honest opinion. I'm not taking this personally. I've done what I can. I've done almost everything I can.
You might get a tan, bro.
Raz, you're fine. I don't want to be fine. I don't want to be fine. Everything besides nose surgery, you're smart, so that's all that matters. No. I go on to Twitter Spaces, and they tell me, Razma, you're chopped. I go, I don't live my life like I'm chopped. Like, the way that I walk and the way that I move and the way that the world reacts to me, it's like I'm attractive. I succeed in the world like I'm an attractive, magnetic guy. And so they say, oh, it's only because you're funny. That's what they told me on Twitter Space. They said, oh, it's only because you're funny. I said, brother, I've just spent the past 6 months indoctrinating myself into looks-maxing ideology in the belief that the only thing that matters is looks. I believe in clavicular. I believe that looks are above everything else. So if looks are above everything else and I'm moving mad through life, doesn't that mean I'm fucking sexy? Food for thought. Food for thought. Bro, if you think you're attractive, stop thinking of what them randoms say about you. Don't let the opinions of sheep affect you. Bro, threadguy chat is not sheep. Are you kidding me? Threadguy chat is a bunch of
Bro,
elite...
he's talking about the spaces. He was talking about the spaces, bro.
Yeah, but I'm not asking the spacer, and I'm asking Threadguy's chat, who is the most elite bunch of able-bodied males that ever was spawned besides Razma chat. Go to church, bro. 3 looks max autists gonna rule Lebanon. Miss the days when we were following Jewish Deca millionaire. Call Wavy 80 a god right now. I don't know who that is. Man, I was fluent in TG stream. Now I have 1 brain cell in here. Why do you guys think I'm retarded? Like, maybe I just have a different type of, like, autistic intelligence towards the world, bro. I don't understand. This is, like, so fucking... Why do you think I'm not smart? Do you understand the level of intelligence that it takes to fucking do live streams on Pump Fun dressing up as a fucking hippo making comedy clip farming? That's a level of intelligence, bro. Viblet, you are him, bro. You're fine. You're a solid 6.9 out of 10. It's because you're jacked. Say some smart shit then. I'm smart, head ass. Say some smart shit. Okay, I'll say some smart shit. Fuck. What were the topics?